Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly game master today. Because today, we are playing, continuing on with our series of holiday adventures and playing part 2 of an adventure we started just before Christmas called or maybe it was just after Christmas, called the Harrowhaunts of Yule. This is part of a series of adventures that I've been running using Pathfinder 2nd Edition, set in my own custom world of the Spires of Paridar. And if you're joining us for the first time, the quick understanding of Paridar is if you can picture a kind of the fictional depiction of dark and gloomy Victorian London mixed in with elements of horror and occult conspiracy and Dickensian class struggle and coal punk, not steampunk, so more lots of advanced technology, but seen from the perspective of those at the bottom of the socioeconomic spectrum. It borrows elements from Ravenloft, from Bloodborne, from Arcane, from Carnival Row, from all sorts of different dark. Oh, Eberron as well too is definitely a spiritual ancestor for this. But I don't want to waste any more time. I think you'll get accustomed to life in the streets of Paridar once we get going here. Allow me to introduce you to the stars of Chapter 2 of the Harrowhaunts of Yule. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who are you playing today? First up, we've got George.
Hey, I'm George. I am playing Sepulcher, who is an automaton, haunted sorcerer. He can manifest an eidolon that works in tandem with him, and we'll find out more about him as we go.
Very nice. Next up is Sean.
Hey, I'm Sean. I am playing Golag, son of Doc and Dak. Dak, I think I was saying. I am a orc and a detective by trade. I am also a witch, and I have a familiar that is either my shadow, my tattoo, my something creeping around the room, and my father, trying to escape my father while coexisting with my father.
Yes, Golag's father, Dak, is the head of the Paridar Detective Agency. If you can picture a even more horrible combination of the Pinkertons and Blackwater, that is his dear old dad. Next up is James.
I'm James, and I'm Sally Dumer, an aquatic, elegant but rather a slightly damp shadow, as it were, who's with her dark skin, but with phosphorescent spots which she can move around herself to actually light herself up. And she's normally dressed in a satin cloak to enable her to slide.
Okay, we appear to be back.
Must have got hit by holy energy.
I had issues with the internet last night, so I don't know if it's carrying on. If anyone missed it, what Carl had said was that he had also had a clockwork arm as a result of his service during the last Great War. And last but certainly not least is Darren.
Yep, it's Darren. I'm playing Dr. Adam Ersprung. He's a inventor, a created flesh warp, is it they're called? And he's got his construct companion, and he's a gentle giant, and particularly sympathetic to the lower classes of Paridar, so looking after the lower classes.
Very nice. I think, George, you got a minion as well.
Yes, for momentarily.
All right, so guys, I think what we're going to do, rather than doing a out of session recap, we're going to jump right in. So our scene opens in, once again, the snow-filled streets of Paridar. This is now a day after, a day after Yule. And what we can see is along this street, we can see, you know, a kind of a clockwork horseless carriage to go passing by, ferrying some rich folks from one post-Yule occasion off to another one. We can see a number of other people making their way through the streets, their servants hurrying back, getting ready to deliver and cook the suppers for their masters and mistresses. And someone walking along, if you were careful to observe, you may note that the magically or gas-lit lamps that illuminate the street here, they don't seem to cast a shadow from this individual. His face, however, is fully in shadow, and his brow is furrowed with concern. He makes his way down the street, turns up at a white-faced building that has in the window a lights inside which illuminate a sign that reads Shadow Illuminations. This, of course, is Golag, son of Dak. And Golag, we're picking up with you returning back to Shadow Illuminations. There have been two things that have happened since our last session with Golag. One of them is that you have learned some information. You were speaking to Skulldug, the orc who works for your father. You had met with him at the Tusk and Tankard, and he had discussed the investigation and had heartily encouraged you to abandon your present activity. And as a result of what you learned, you've also called together as many of the other available members of Shadow Illuminations as you can. So as Golag makes his way up and opens the door, we can see that your trusty manservant, who we have yet to give a name, though he's appeared in every session, is waiting for you. Sir, he says, as you walk in, taking your big mantle off. And
yeah, he's like has his arms straight out, and I'm piling up coat and like hat,
yep,
gloves,
very
scarf.
Good, sir. Very good, sir. Very good, sir. And he says, Golag turns to the manservant and says, has everyone assembled? And indeed, sir, they all wait in the study. Though Master Wrathbone found himself unavailable.
Very well.
So we see Golag make his way over to the this familiar parlor where the meeting with clients and whatnot occurs. He opens the door, and we can see all of our collected illuminators waiting inside. And why don't we go around and just describe kind of what everyone is doing. I'll go in the reverse order I did introductions. So as the door is opened into this salon that is used to both conduct investigations, one thing I do know is on the wall there is a big map of Paridar with the two rivers, the spires marked on it, and then a bunch of pins tracking Basil's investigations. So, Dr. Earthsprung, where do we see you and Igor?
It'll be in one of the corners, and those that don't know, Igor come to a bit of a problem in the last session he was involved in. So Dr. Earthsprung, he'd be tinkering and still doing little bits of adjustments and work on Igor, and basically waiting until everyone arrives, so not really paying a lot of attention to everyone else. He's just constantly tinkering and playing with Igor, trying to get some finishing touches done on his repair work.
Oh, and for those who haven't met Dr. Earthsprung yet, too, he runs a clinic in one of the downtrodden neighborhoods in Paridar. What about Hannibal? So our camera pans over to Hannibal.
So Hannibal, since Dr. Earthsprung has taken his favorite corner, he's going to be like probably along that wall with some illumination. He's going over this kind of Sudoku type number puzzle that Basil left for him, since he wants, he's kind of learning some less martial, more thoughtful skills from his tutor and friend who has been called away. So that's what he's kind of doing. He's crunching the numbers.
All right. And Lady Lillian?
Probably sort of standing by the fireplace, maybe with a small glass of sherry, possibly chatting to Sally.
Okay. And Sally?
Sally's off in the shadows a bit and rubbing some unguent lotion onto her hands to protect her skin.
Yes. It's been quite cold and quite dry, which is definitely not welcome on Sally's delicate skin. And finally, Sepulcher.
I think I don't know if there's a window or something that I can be looking at. Yeah, great. So he's standing at the window, like staring out, not lost in thought, but actually like trying to maintain a sort of a guard, just in case anything were to happen.
Okay.
And he's absently playing with, like, I think a little sort of pyramid with all kinds of strange sigils carved into it, but absentmindedly doing that. So it's some kind of occultic object that he's discovered. He hasn't figured out what it's for, what it does, or what it means yet.
And is Matthias here, or is he in the Netherworld?
I think he's not currently summoned. I think I think what the group has realized is that Sepulcher tries to limit the amount of exposure that Matthias has to any kind of danger. He's incredibly protective. He's like the protective older brother to the group, especially Hannibal.
Okay.
Because he's literally connected to the overprotective older brother of Hannibal.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So Golag, you see, everyone has been collected, and now it is time to bring everyone up to speed on the state of your investigation. And then once you do, I will share what you learned from Skulldeck. So, Sean and James were involved in the first leg of this investigation. Guys, why don't you tell the rest of your collected Illuminators what it is you're investigating?
So I think Golag is just inside the door with a look of satisfaction on his face. He was used to his father's organization, which is obviously much larger, and so his efforts are much smaller and sometimes have been quite solitary. So, assembling the troops is something that kind of brings back a nostalgia from his days at his father's shop, much larger shop, and he's kind of enjoying what he's created for a moment as he sees the familiar faces around the room, and that we've joined in an effort that he's about to talk about. So. And we'll see how I do at this. It was a week ago, but I think we can. So he says, and then I think the manservant comes by with a tray, and he's thank goodness, and he takes a saucer and tea, and kind of dramatically just takes a few sips, blows off the steam, and everyone's just kind of waiting still, or perhaps they're waiting for their own. So I'm glad everyone was able to come. We have quite a situation, and it requires all of our skills and acumen. We have been secured our services by let's see, as I get my
I can help with visual aids here.
That would be great. I'm looking at my notes. It'll start getting better here.
Addison Wright Esquire.
Yes, exactly. Maybe someone in the room, was it Addison? Yes, it was Addison Wright Esquire. That's exactly who it was. Some of you may be familiar with him. He is the solicitor of one Elwood T. Eckert, powerful, ubiquitously known man of the city.
And you would all, without making any checks, would be familiar with Elwood T. Eckert. Elwood T. Eckert is arguably the richest man in the city of Paridar.
Yes, indeed. The richest and probably the most, difficult. And so his demeanor has changed 180 degrees from what it was, so much so that his organization is in complete alarm at his behavior and his growing actions, which has been deemed to be in to be not in his own interest, or at least in the interest of his business dealings. So we have been secured to figure out what has occurred here by Mr. Wright, Mr. Eckert's solicitor, to find out what has happened here, and hopefully to set it straight, but at least to figure out the wheres and what fors.
What you guys would know, anyone who picks up and has a passing reading or relationship with the broadsheets of Paridar would know that Elwood T. Eckhart has been making the front page because of proclaimed changes in his attitude towards generosity. He woke up on the morning of Yule claiming to be a changed man, and what Golag or Sally could fill you in with is what is not known to the public is that he claims he was visited by 3 spirits on the eve of Yule, and that as a result of that, he has now changed and intends to donate the rest of his time and fortune to charitable endeavors. Unsurprisingly, that did not sit well with the board or with his solicitor.
Indeed. So I can tell you that my father is involved in some way in this case, although I cannot tell you exactly how or through who, but his minions, otherwise that you're familiar with them as Dackmen, they are sprinkled around throughout this case. You will probably come upon them with their prying eyes. Myself and Ms. Demure have visited both, of course, Mr. Wright at his location for the securing of our services. We have visited Mr. Eckert's mansion, and that was quite illuminating. We discovered in his bedroom a magical doorway, if you will, or a magical portal underneath his master bed that most certainly is part of this case. There were also little scratches, trails of what I can tell you, in fact, was a mechanical spider of sorts, a construct that most certainly was the source in some ways of this case. And then
allow me to just interrupt for a moment here. What we can picture in the scene is that Golag is setting out the script, like the copying of the markings that were on the underneath the bed. That's where the circle was. Yeah. So would anyone can give us an occult check, and Lillian, you can give us a hag lore check. The DC will be lower for that. Let's get some dice rolling here.
Yeah.
Oof. Nice, Hannibal. Not great, Lillian.
Hey there.
No, not for Sepulchre either. Lady Lillian, do you wish to... Whoa, Sally. Holy smokes.
Sally's had more time. She saw it some time ago.
So, I think, Lady Lillian, do you wish to spend a hero point and re-roll then?
Yeah, I think so. Why not?
Okay. As Haglor, so they can... they had suspicions. Look at that. Holy smokes. All right, so first thing you can... tell, this is most definitely, Lady Lillian, both Hannibal and Sally, you would recognize this as well. You point at the markings, say, Lady Lillian, these are markings of hag curses, are they not? And Lady Lillian, you know precisely what this is. And in fact, Lady Lillian asks, was there something found in the center of this? And you say, indeed, and place down a folded envelope, manila envelope that you take out, and there is a little, almost like an effigy, but made with a bit of sticks and then threads of hair tawny hair wrapped around the thing. And Lady Lillian, you would know that this would be an anchor for just such a ritual. Now, unsurprisingly, Elwood T. Eckhart had the very best in warding magic that money can buy. And he was on very, very good terms with the College of Divination, or College of Glyphs and Wards at Collington University. But this type of working, Lady Lillian, would pass through those barriers. It's like trying to, it's using the wrong kind of dam, as it were, to try and keep this force out. The other thing you know is that it is the type of working arcane magic as opposed to occult magic. Arcane magic is worked with knowledge and wisdom and learning. And then you use that with will to make your spells, to do what they want. You draw on the arcane power. Occult magic is not like that. Occult magic is instinctive and driven by passion. And this type of working, Lady Lillian would most definitely have to have some kind of very personal connection to have the force necessary to go through and summon something.
So it would have to be cast by someone?
Most definitely. This is more of an anchor in order to get something in. And as like I said, this object was used to make the markings necessary and apparently deposit the thing. The next thing that Golag gestures to as he's describing is the ruined remains of the clockwork spy. And anyone who's trained in crafting can go ahead and give us a crafting check. See if you know anything about this.
And Golag's recounting
Nat
of that
20.
That battle will be replete, will be long and arduous, and
yeah.
spare no details.
And one of the interesting details, so you look at this stuff, Sepulcher, I guess first off, Dr. Osborne, do you want to spend a hero point, or you just want to let Sepulcher get that nat 20?
Yeah, I think once I see they seem to know all about it, I'll just leave it to them.
Okay. So, Sepulcher, this is, there's a couple things that you know about this. Hannibal, that's a great roll as well. So you know a fair amount of this, but the nat 20, I think, will trump it. What you know, Sepulcher, is, for one, this is not a terribly... It's not that it's a common device, but it's a known device. It is something that, rich folks may, or, those in power may use to spy on their adversaries. It's only about, yay big, about the size of a softball. And it is normally equipped, as you can see, with wings in order to locomote and fly. It normally has a recording device inside, and it normally has what's a self-destruct mechanism. So in the event that it is collected, it destroys itself to avoid anyone knowing where it came from. However, thanks to the close guarding of a cellar cat, the wing on this thing and the self-destruct mechanism was damaged, not destroyed. So when our heroes, or our illuminators, Golag and Sally Demare, came upon this thing, its self-destruct mechanism had been disabled somehow, and one of its wings was destroyed, so it didn't have a way of getting out of the cellar. After they defeated it, what they found was inside there was... And where there would have been the mechanism for recording images and sound and whatnot, that was gutted out, and a custom set of very fine, manipulators were put in, the kind that, say, would be able to draw a perfect ritual circle for rooting an occult ritual. The device itself would have been manufactured, or was manufactured, by Eckhart Industrial. But both Sepulcher and Hannibal, you would know, there is an enormous amount of custom work that has gone into this. This is something where you take a base model and then a lot of aftermarket modifications by someone with an awful lot of money, and to have something saving, nice, to have something that would be capable of drawing the appropriate markings for a. Are you in a disco party there, Mo? What's going on?
Sorry, I hit the wrong control. Sorry. Apologies while I sort this out.
I love it.
Yeah, that's great.
We're getting an insight into Mo's secret life.
Yeah, really.
That's right.
When Mo's offline.
Mo, that was last night. That was last night. Oh.
We lost Carl.
Oh, did we lose Carl? And
Well, Carl obviously quit because of that disco situation.
yeah,
He's not a fan of disco. Yeah.
that's it. No one told me there'd be ABBA. I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's outrageous.
Kyle and I are Iron Maiden fans, so I know that disco is not his thing. So not surprised.
Oh man.
I will relay all of these things that you're describing to the group. I think also it just occurred to me that Sepulchre was in the war, got some damage to his vocabulator.
Yep.
So he's a little bit raspy when he speaks. I won't do it right this second, but he'll relay all that in this raspy voice. And as he's doing that, he's a very curious individual, especially when it comes to things of this nature. And he has a spell that he would like to use, which is called object reading. And what's very cool about this spell is that you can learn a piece of information about an emotional event that occurred involving the object within the past week. And I can put that into the chat.
Yeah, let's see what.
I think you can put the description just by clicking on it, George, if you want.
Yes.
There you go. Perfect.
There you go.
All right. So, what does it look like as Sepulchre casts this? We know there's a somatic and verbal component there.
Yeah, so I think he intones some occultish wording, but he sort of he manipulates the object, turns it in every direction, looks at it from all sides, all angles, and keeps doing it until a vision starts to form in his mind. And so this whole time, as he's getting this reading, he's like twisting and turning this thing, and I think maybe his hands can twist, 360.
Yeah.
So it's going around as and then he just stares at it, and he's like fully locked in. He's seeing something completely different than what is in the room itself.
Okay. So what you can tell is, I think you have a vision of a craftsman who you don't recognize. There's a jeweler's lens in one eye, and it's got like the big, with all the different lenses on it, the typical, coal punk or steampunk sort of aesthetic, in a darkened workshop, working away, and you can hear a man's voice that you would recognize if you heard it again, saying, it must deploy properly. It must work precisely as she says. We cannot have any deviations for this. And you hear a woman's voice, and the woman's voice makes your it kind of makes your like you have a more of a stabilizing frame than a spine, but it doesn't prevent a chill from running up it when you hear this woman's voice say, it will work as intended. Be precise in your markings. And the craftsman says, without sparing a beat, a testament to the professionalism and skill of this individual. No, to worry, it'll work precisely as intended. And you're back in the room.
Because I think I do a sudden movement, and I turn to the group, and I'm going to relay what I have seen. And so I do not know who these people are, but I think I would recognize them if I heard their voice again.
Would you give us a society check, please?
Alrighty.
This is going to be a pretty easy difficulty number.
Okay, cool.
Like a 9.
There we go.
Look at that.
There you go.
Is it that low?
So
just want to keep it interesting.
What you can tell is that the man's voice you heard most definitely was part of the aristocracy. has that kind of haughty kind of lilt to it. As well, too, guys, everybody gets a hero point. It's been half an hour.
Yes.
So, Golag. Sorry, forgive me, Sean, for interrupting, but I wanted to give everyone else an opportunity to examine this stuff. What do you do next? So you found this thing in the basement. You found that.
And there's on the hero point subject, they don't reset or anything, do they, Kevin? We just pick it up from where we left off.
At start of the session, you always start with 1.
Okay.
Yeah, they're there to be used, so make use of them if you can.
Okay. I think Golag had gone up behind Sepulchra as he had approached and started handling the object, and Savan, quite disturbed that the object was being disturbed, has like a feather duster and is like kind of dithering around the whole scene, like, oh my God, you put it down. And he says, so you have seen, Sepulchra, that it is in fact a member of the aristocracy, you think, that is behind this, along with a hag of some sort, as suspected from the magic involved.
That is correct.
Well, that is I suppose that's not surprising given our evidence so far.
So this may be a point where you can share what you learned from Skulldug, because
yes.
What Skulldug, you may recall, he asked if you were aware of the Harrowhaunts. Now, in the city of Paridar, there are the study of the arcane occurs right alongside the study of the sciences and any of the other humanities, any other kind of academic endeavor, all at Collington University. The occult, or the study of the occult, is the forgotten or abandoned, or the foreign study of types of and forms of magic, older things usually. And from the Paridar perspective, occult, literally the double meaning of the thing, and it is the obscured knowledge of the marginalized. What he told you is that the hags are, there's a couple things that you knew from before. Hags are at their most powerful when invoking the number 3. When they're in a coven of 3, they are at their most powerful. And it is not for nothing that 3 spirits that Eckhart says visited him. When you discuss this with Skulldug, and this is not knowledge he had. It seems like it is something that he acquired. You may recall that your father was approached by by Addison Wright to conduct these investigations, and he refused.
Oh, that's right.
They did do some preliminary. You know your father well enough to know that they would be doing like a pre-investigation to determine whether it's something that it benefits them to be involved with that investigation. And what they found is, or at least what he told you, is of the Harrowhaunts. Now, the Harrowhaunts are an old belief that is said that the hags could go on. One of the reasons why hags have such a prominence in the myths and the legendary and the history, although history is not really well understood in Paridar, the history of so many peoples is because of not only their power but their wisdom. And one of the sources of wisdom, the ways they get that, is through these horrific ancient spirits called Harrowhaunts. And they are so called because they are press-ganged spirits of the departed, but the harrowing for which they get their name involves tearing all the secrets of the past, the present, and future plans from the individual. The cursed one who is visited by the harrowing. Now, this is something that it is a powerful working that requires very specific circumstances, usually by the hags co-opting someone else to do it. But what they gain from that is the secrets, when it is successful, the secrets of all of the person who is harrowed. Now, knowing the place that Elwood Eckhart occupied, not only as a member, like as a captain of industry in Paridar, but also a member of one of the many secret societies that are said to run Paridar and the wider empire. Can you imagine what value there would be from such a visitation? And the reason you called everyone together is, can you imagine the lengths that one would go to in order to protect those secrets?
Does the individual that's being haunted has to be dead, though, or no? They can be alive.
No, they can be alive, though they are said to be left changed by the experience.
And does our collective knowledge have us believe that so that this perhaps is a likelihood that's probably what happened? That
what do you think?
So he's discussing it. So this is him discussing it with the group.
So this is what he shares with the rest of you about the Harrowhaunts, what he learned of them.
It seems like it tracks.
Yes.
Somehow he seems to have taken it very well, taken it in a very positive light.
Indeed. But with a radical change of his prior demeanor.
What Skulldug tells you is that the Harrowhaunts are most definitely not gentle in their work. So the man that
you know these.
Oh no, go ahead, George.
Do you know if these changes are permanent? Or lag?
I'm not sure.
Lillian,
do I know Kevin?
Lady Lillian, why don't you give us a hag lore check? Let's see what you can turn up from this. It's not great. You want to spend a hero point?
I haven't got any.
Oh, you got one on your token. You guys just got your second.
I did it before.
Right, but you guys got a second hero point. Not
Okay, yeah. Let's go again then.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, are Harrowhaunts normally negative or have negative
most
effects?
definitely. These are. So 12, from the way that go like this is an extremely rare, bit of knowledge. It's not something that is common because, for understandable reasons, the people in power certainly don't want people to be able to just summon spirits and steal all of their secrets, leaving them brain damaged afterwards. It is a very unusual ritual, and it needs to the power attributed to the spirits is directly connected to the emotional. As I said, the rite is one driven by emotion and passion more so than precision and education. This power of the spirits is commensurate to that. So, summoning the Harrowhaunts on a stranger, they would not have much power to them. Someone Harrowhaunts as a way of avenging yourself on a spurned romantic rival or something like that, or a spurned romantic partner, or someone who has horribly wronged you, that may lend them a lot more power.
And that relationship would be with the hag that performed it?
Between the person who performed the ritual. The hags don't actually perform the ritual. They set everything up, but the fuel, as it were, the coal for that furnace needs to be a feeling of great passion. And literally, what your role speaks to is that the fact that you don't know much about these suggests that this is very, very ancient and secret lore.
Well, we, I guess, first possibility is the person that you have heard in your vision, Sepulchra. It would match with both the aristocratic circles of Eckert and yes, we need to find out who that is.
There's one other distinct party that both Ms. Dumer and Golag had inquired about. Ms. Dumer was familiar with before, just to introduce all our cast of suspects here. That's Freddie. Frederick Eckhart, forgive me, is the nephew of Elwood T. Eckhart.
Yes, we discussed for this kind of relationship that would make the most sense acting against Mr. Eckert. We had discussed his nephew as being a possibility because it is most likely that the board would probably insert Frederick in Elwood's place if that came to be, that they were going to remove Elwood from the top. It's a bit drastic, though. We determined. Go ahead.
Yeah, we found out that Freddie had no particular fascination with the occult. I mean, other than being, as usual, of someone of his class involved in these societies, but no particular passion for it, and generally seemed to be, again, by the standards of his class, relatively decent type. So,
yes.
Perversely, it doesn't sound like the man to be driven by great passion to punish his uncle.
Right.
Perhaps.
Yes, he seems a poor candidate on a personal basis.
Daphne did say that he harbored, he would never say it out loud, but in private he did harbor resentment for his uncle. If you think,
Were there other enemies that you've heard of, Eckhart?
Probably countless, unfortunately.
Anyone who would have met him before. He is an eminently detestable man.
But,
I see.
I suppose limited by a person that would have access to the resources, access to the hag, and access to him from a standpoint of the passion needed for apparently pulling off this kind of magic. So it is, and access to the mechanical construct, the spider that was used. So at the central meeting point of all these factors is our answer.
Yes, I think the key is the resources and the knowledge of this ancient wizardry.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting, Lillian says, because normally these are not nice things, but effectively all they've done is turn him nice. It could be that someone is planning a boardroom coup and wants to force the other shareholders to effectively replace him. So that would imply blood relatives. Does he have any unacknowledged children, maybe? Medallions from when he was younger that's being used? Or maybe his nephew is being used by third parties to destabilize him. So who benefits if, say, he's replaced?
Yes, and it could be a conspiracy of multiple people.
So is this a private company, or do they have like a stock exchange?
Nope, 100% private.
So it's got to be someone in the family or in the direct line of inheritance.
And rumor has it that Freddie would be the one.
Yeah, they would take over, that the board would put in his place if he was removed. There are also he's got a very tight circle, we were told, consisting of a a chief clerk by the name of Dick Crockett. Now, it should be mentioned that Crockett has a child, as it were, that has had health troubles that, at least in the past, that Eckert had no concern about, whereas some thought he should. And yet, Eckert now has taken on a great role in shepherding the health of this child just in the last 2 or 3 days as part of his transformation. Indeed, little Lucas Crockett. Then there's the shop steward, Henry Gordon. We don't have much information about him yet, I don't believe. We could possibly look into that, but there might be questions of resources for one's resources of some of these. You know, they would need access to the hag's abilities, for example.
Anyone
members of the
anyone can give us an occult roll or occultism check if you like, please.
Nice, Lady
Lillian, yeah. Dr. Adam as well.
And yeah.
So I just want to get things straight. So you think that these hags summon these spirits, and it might have been a plot by members of the board to oust Mr. Eckhart, but perhaps these spirits had an opposite effect on him, and now he's very generous. So, like, what are we trying to achieve there? I think it's great that this hard man is now giving to the downtrodden.
I agree.
What is wrong with that? I mean,
I think.
Are we working for this board?
We are working for his solicitor, Addison Wright. The notion being that these ancient magics were used to potentially strip Eckert of secrets. It was not specifically used, at least in our current thinking. It was not used to change him. It was used to strip him of secrets in an undue fashion. And it just happened to have perhaps this particular effect on him. So we've been.
Further to George's suggested industrial espionage. In addition to that, he was part of secret society, and money is power in Paridar. So a man with a lifetime of climbing up and then dominating that must have access to a host of secrets about not only his own dealings but wider Paridar in general. Building on the role from occultism, what Lady Lillian and Dr. Ursprung you think of is that sometimes with these occultic rituals, they are, again, not as clean, as it were, as the arcane rituals. And this sudden change in personality, it may be related to, like magical brain damage, as it were. It also may be part of the sympathetic nature of occultic magic, because of the way that a powerful working like that and spirits that are driven by or granted power by the passions and the feelings, as it were, of the summoner or the ritualist. What it mean, and because of the way that they invade the mind, what it means is that it could have left behind residual sympathetic feelings. Whatever the feelings are of the ritualist, it may have been inadvertently transferred onto him. Or it could be a combination of both of those things, the brain damage and the unintended, harmonics, as it were, of the occultic ritual.
So we've been secured to find out what happened and who did it. And possibly, I would presume the mechanics of the situation, so they can find out if he is injured, mentally injured, and how to affect it. So this is our task.
So they want to bring him back into the fold, as it were.
I mean, I would presume there are going to be powers that be there. others that rely on his on the company besides him, as he possibly works to destroy his own creation that will affect others. But that is
benefit some too, right?
Well, indeed. In fact, they are our prime suspects if we can determine others. Now, that's where the nephew would fall into play. But our what we have done so far have worked to more eliminate him than make him more likely. But still a possibility we should consider, since he is the person that would be replacing, getting the power if the board removed Mr. Eckert Sr.
Mo, I saw you had your hand up.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
I mean, do the effects of these, or the side effects, would they be like that's the effect, or could it be something that's progressively going to get worse, or damage is going to increase? The other thing would be to check who are the industrial rivals. You know, is there an up and coming another company that might be trying to like destabilize their main competitor?
So let's just quickly talk about playing mysteries in RPGs. This is a fictional construct. It is a fact pattern that is not based on any actuality, which means that there may be not holes, but there may be things outside of the scope in the fictional world that are not necessarily part of the mystery. The best way to proceed through a mystery like in a game like this is to base on the clues you have, instead of trying to invent suppositions based on things that are not as of yet introduced. So, Mo, have you had any evidence thus far, or have you heard any evidence thus far about rivals?
No.
Okay. So, and I don't mean that to chastise. These are, by their nature, there's going to be holes in a fictional construct, and because we're not just passing through the scenario, or the mystery as a passive participant. You guys are actively involved in interrogating the things. It kind of is incumbent on you to try and figure out what is the clues that are available and pursue those to avoid going down, dead ends or red herring searches. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It's kind of the necessity of it's the conceit for playing in the game is that you find clues, you pursue those clues, and you go on. If you pursue things that are not or that you don't have any evidence of yet, you may find yourself frustrated by lack of progress.
Right.
So
well, if I can,
go ahead. Yeah.
Go ahead. Well, just a quick sum up where we're at the moment.
Yeah.
It seems like, to kind of address Carl's question, we're not looking to return Eckhart to his former ways. That's not an objective here. We're trying to figure out who did this to him and why. It seems like you've spoken previously to some of these people that are in our list, but except for Henry Gordon, is that right? The shop steward? You've already talked to Crockett?
We have not talked to Crockett yet. We've learned some things about him, but we have not visited him. Henry Gordon, and I think that was the circle we were told about, and then of course the voice that Sepulchre heard. We want to find out who they are. Right.
So I'm just throwing out there the possibility: should we go try to speak to one of these two other candidates who may have information, not necessarily are responsible, but who may know some clues that we don't have access to yet?
And we didn't actually visit Frederick, so we have to put him on the list too. He's very much still on the list. So we have not. We only visited Eckert Sr., his house, and then I spoke to my connection with my father's organization, and then Sally spoke with a contact of hers regarding Frederick, but we've not met with Frederick.
Mm-hmm. Darren?
It seems like. Oh, sorry.
No, I just want to ask, who was it that got the good role on investigating the little flying construct?
Sepulchre.
And from that knowledge, would they have worked out any sort of breadcrumbs or any sort of identification of who the crafter was, or the parts that are used that would be specific to a company, or anything unique that all the crafting knowledge that's in the group.
So
would pinpoint a special
the markings,
person.
like the stock stuff that went into the Clockwork Spy, is definitely from Eckhart Industrial, from Elwood's company. The work that's in there, the actual work that was done to add that extra custom stuff in there, I think any of you who are trained in crafting, in the same way that you could compare the brush strokes of a master or fingerprints of an individual, you may be able to, if you saw their examples of their work again, you could most definitely.
So none of us have seen examples as of yet then by that.
None you're familiar with. Oh, actually, let's do this. Why don't we make a
Crafting?
I think it's a society roll, actually, because this... hold on, not society. Yeah, give us a crafting. Anyone who's trained in crafting, you can give us a crafting check here.
I'm just thinking we'd have seen enough electronical arms and bits and pieces coming through.
You did.
Dr. Earthsprung.
Earthsprung knew something. You knew it.
Yep.
Yeah. There is... So... When you hear Eckhart's name, you immediately think of there's many parts that you use to make, Igor and for your other experiments that definitely come from them. There is a where's the name? There is a man named Percival Seaton, who is the chief engineer at Elwood Industrial.
And I think there's a good chance that that's his work.
Yeah, that's the... And he's also... Well, or alternatively, he's best placed to get one of his underlings, of which there are many, to do it. Yeah, I think he's possibly a good person to talk to. And maybe the shop steward afterwards, because quite often they might know more about what's going on behind the scenes.
Well, given if you're going for the full-on passion stuff, I'd have put probably personal stuff above business, and therefore I'd think that Dick Crockett could be quite an interesting individual for that, given his son and how the son was treated and all the rest of it. That's likely to bring the word passion up more than increasing of shareholdings or anything like that.
True.
Would everyone kindly give us a perception check, please? You find that on the right side of your character sheet, bottom, nat 20 for Lady Aurelius.
I'm one of these things listening in on that conversation.
Nat 20 from Sally as well.
Nice.
All right, so first off, everyone gets another hero point. And then Lady Aurelius and Ms. Dumer. Not everyone. Let's see here. Did anyone else get even close? No. Oh, Dr. Earthsprung as well, too. All three of you can hear a rattling of something moving in the vents. As with many of these old buildings, there's vents that make their way through from the boiler. You can hear something moving in the vents near the right near where the entrance thing is. And in fact, Ms. Dumer, this brings back memories of the slight whine, like wheezing and creaking of the limbs of that thing found in the cellar of Eckhart House. What do you guys do? The three of you are the ones who immediately notice this.
Have we got any knowledge of where that vent goes? Is it an air vent or air?
It's a heating vent, and I think you probably have an idea of sort of where it leads and where it comes from.
So I will shout. I'll go for the furnace and nip out the door to try and get down to the wherever the furnace is.
Okay. Saban is on his way back with something in hand. Spins around as you race past him.
Golag's buried in his tea. What? Spills his tea. What? Just what?
And Dr. Earthsprung and Lady Lillian, you both can take immediate action having heard that if you like.
Where's everyone going?
I'm going to say to Dr. Armstrong, quick, lift me up, and I'll try and get him to lift me up, pull the vent off, and try and like.
Yeah, I'll just put him on the shoulders and just stand up, literally.
Okay, so you get up there, Sally or Lady Lillian, and you look in and you can see, almost as in the illustration, standing on kind of spider-like legs with a lens. Something sees you and then turns and is going to begin to start racing off in the deeper into the heating system. So why doesn't everyone? Oh, what do you say? Let's just say something first, Lady Lillian, and then we'll roll initiative.
I'm going to try and freeze it, I'll say, and then we'll go into initiative.
No one knows what you're talking about when you say it, because your character has not shared with.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. No, that fits in the moment. I'm going to freeze it, and everyone's like, "What the fuck is she talking about?" Everyone, go ahead and click on your token first, and then click on initiative. I think perception is what is going to be driving our initiative score in this one. And let's get.
This is where I roll a nat one. Come on.
Okay.
I'll hero point that initiative if I can.
You can, yeah. I mean, you may want to save that for. Remember, initiative is only really important for that first round. I guess you want
to get it before it runs away.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what Lillian's thought is.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and spend. I'll delete you from here. Oh, Lady Lillian, did you roll? Oh, second one, 21. Nice.
21.
Okay.
Oh, let me just adjust my hero points. Sorry.
I'm like, what's all this then? All right.
Everyone, Seven, what's going on?
What's all this bother?
What's all this?
All right, so there it is. Give it a turn here. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got everyone in there. Fantastic. 19.
If you'd like to take a break from the meeting, just say so.
Okay. All right, so then first up, everyone who is surprised, I can't remember how surprise works in this game. Should we learn? Let's learn.
Yeah, let's find out.
Let's learn. I can't remember how surprised works. I suspect what it is, it affects your action economy. But let's see here. Surprise, surprise, surprise. $4.99, 500. Okay. Oh, and all of you have access to the complete compendium as well, too, through the letter I in the circle, if you want.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Go. Oh, surprise. Here we go. No, you just have a -4 to your initiative score, but then you're able to act. So let's do this here. Everyone who's surprised, I'll just adjust your not surprised, Poker surprised. I'll adjust your initiative score. Sally was not. Cool, like you are.
I already took care of the -4 with my roll.
Oh,
Kevin,
yeah.
So it's,
Yeah, right.
All right, so in spite of this, Hannibal, you are up first, and because you rolled initiative, you can choose to draw, because of your ability, your rapier and your gun, if you like. Oh, you're muted, Carl.
So this vent, it goes like into the wall. There's not like a, it's not like a modern, like it's built into the wall. There's no like outside. I don't know if you know what I mean, but ductwork is not out on.
No. It's concealed it's built into the wall itself.
All right, so I think he's gonna follow Sally Dumer. Doesn't want someone to be left by themselves.
Okay, so you go racing out after Sally. Lady Lillian, you're up next.
And I'll of course draw. I have my weapons out because apparently something's.
Yeah.
Whatever it is either spying on us or hostile. So,
Saban spins around as Sally goes racing out, then continues spinning as Hannibal runs past him. Lady Lillian, what do you want you to do? 3 actions.
I'm going to spell strike.
There is a grating on the thing? How do you intend to...
Right, so...
Picture the grating is about like that by that, and it's still on there. You see this thing in there looking out at you.
Is it a really thin grating, or could I...
It's like a
shoot something
cross.
through?
It's like brass cross, you know.
Oh, yeah, it's quite a fine mesh. Okay.
No, it's quite largely. You can fit like fingers through it quite easily. It's just that you wouldn't be able to fit... I mean, A, you haven't drawn your rapier. B, you're on someone's shoulders right now. And C, you're not going to be able to fit the rapier through that thing.
I was going to use the Ray of Frost to try and freeze it.
You could try and cast that through there. I'm going to give it cover, so it'll be a tricky shot. But you can try.
Okay, let's try that.
Okay.
And I will also go into Spell Strike. So that's 1 action for that and 2 actions for the cantrip.
Okay, so Spell Strike, remember how
It's after,
Spell Strike
isn't it?
works? You have to be using a melee attack. How do you intend to get a melee attack off on this thing?
All right, yeah, so spells don't count. In that case, let's just cast a spell,
Okay.
and then I'll decide what to do with my...
Sure.
Well, actually, would the getting up on the shoulders be the move action?
You were already up there when we rolled initiative, so...
Okay, so I'm going to...
Go, Ray of Frost. Holy shit! that actually covers it. All right, and it's not a critical hit, but it is a hit, and 5 points of damage. And it takes -10 to its speed. So there is frost that forms over... How about I use the appropriate thing? I'm like, why does this thing have such a high hit points? Oh, it's because I got the wrong monster. It's important when you grab your monster cards, make sure you got the right...
I didn't read the spell description. I didn't realize it slowed it down, but that really works well.
Yeah, I know it actually does that.
One other action, what would I do? So... Well, hang on, I can go into Cascade stance now, can't I?
You can, yep. Is that what you should do?
Yeah, I think so. Well, unless I try and...
Let's just say you do that, and you can... We don't need to, you know... 6 players, we don't need
trying
lots
to get
of...
it off. It's not like I've got like a toolkit.
That's
on my
fine. Okay,
belt.
so you're in your arcane stance. Sepulcher, what are you doing? 3 actions.
So suddenly I start to like jerk around and like my arms kind of go, and this ghostly entity starts to emerge from my body and appear next to me. That takes 3 of my actions to summon Matthias to my side.
Awesome. Dr. Ursprung, what do you wish to do?
Well, he's really supporting Lillian at the moment, so I assume she can't reach or see into this grate without the extra height. So he's pretty much just being a standing platform.
So what
I
you
guess.
could do is, remember, you can trade 1 or 2 actions to give Igor actions. Yeah.
Yeah. How high up is it though? It's probably.
It's probably. I mean, it's probably about 7 feet up.
How tall is Igor?
Igor, I think, is about your height, so probably 6'5". Igor can easily reach the grate if that's what you're.
Yeah, he's basically going to try and spend his turn to remove the grate from the wall.
Okay.
Because he's got all sorts of various tools.
Okay. So then just give us a. You can use Igor's craft or athletics to give us a check. That's only 1 action for Igor. Oh, I spend a hero
Very
point.
good. Yeah, I can use mine for
right
him.
ahead.
Yeah. No.
No. She grabs and tries to. Damn Paridar construction. Does not get to go. Oh,
Really
sure.
didn't go too well.
Frozen shut.
Okay. Then it is this thing's turn. All right. Then let's see here. That's fine, James. We'll see when you get back. Okay. Then let's see here. It is going to flee. So it's going to try and move deeper into the area here. Okay, so it's doing a pretty terrible job of trying to hide. Sally's running downstairs. Skolag, what are you doing? Oh, you're muted, Sean.
Sorry. Golek didn't have much idea what was going on. What do you think he sees at this point?
You see that Lady Lillian has hopped up on someone's shoulders, has cast a spell to try and hit something in the vent, and Lady yeah, Dr. Earthsprung has asked Igor to take the vent off, and he's trying to disassemble that.
Okay, so I think that Golag gets enough of the point here that he quickly casts Forbidding Ward on Lillian.
Okay.
So let's see. So that's 2 of his actions, so it's protection. He doesn't. Well, can he do that not knowing? Because I have to choose a foe.
Yeah, you can't actually see the thing. I don't think that. So you want
okay.
No, I'm fine. I think that
whatever's inside.
Yeah, I think
enough.
you're aware that whatever threat is in there. So there, I think you said it was like a blackish mist that sort of forms as a protection.
Yeah, so I throw that up, and then with my last action, I bid my tattoo to go up near the vent, so
Nice.
I can maybe get a little peek.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that means you're granting your shadow would have 2 actions, 1 action to move up, and then 1 more to seek. So as a reminder,
Sure.
in Pathfinder 2, you can spend 1 action to just make a perception check or some other kind of like obtain knowledge check. So why don't you give us a perception roll for Golag's shadow?
All right. Oh yeah, I got a separate character sheet. Hang on.
Yeah.
Let's see. I was not stand by.
And then it'll be Hannibal's turn next.
Here we go.
It is trying. Oh, nat 20. You know precisely where it is. Like if you were to target a part of the wall, you may be able to get to this thing. Your shadow sees exactly where it is and somehow it communicates, or maybe you're seeing through that, I guess.
Don't let it get away, Lillian. You know, all of a sudden now I'm bellowing, and you had no idea. Now I'm croaking away at it.
Hannibal, what are you doing? 3 actions.
Well, I mean, I guess I caught up with Sally, right?
You're racing. So where are you going though?
She said something about the furnace, so I'll head down.
Okay. So
I guess that's the way to get out. There might be.
Sure.
I guess he's gonna try to approach it. Like I don't know. He doesn't know. This thing could
Okay.
have a handler. There could be more of them. He's
well,
not
so
gonna.
your 3 actions are spent racing downstairs to the furnace room.
Right.
Lady Lillian, what are you doing? This thing has moved further into the ductwork, but Golag's shadow, at least from what he says, seems to know precisely where this thing is. What do you want to do? 3 actions.
I need the duct. How big is it? Is it the traditional hands and knees crawling duct, or is it actually?
It would be tricky for you to fit in there, and there is grating still on the front. Igor has not successfully removed it yet.
I'm going to try and freeze it again, I think.
You can't see it. It's gone further into the duct.
Oh, I see. Damn, it's getting away. There's one of those listening devices in there. Quick, the 7. Have we got a map of the heating system?
Golag looks at you quizzically like, why would we have that? So that's 1 action, 2 more actions.
I think I'm going to try and like. So this is this ducting in the? Is
So
it
here's something
visible or is it
interesting.
hidden?
Let me share one more bit of information with you. Invisibility in this works in an interesting way. There are different stages of kind of awareness of where something is. Like if you are aware that something is there but cannot see it, you're still free to attack it somehow. This has a wall in between, which means I think I would apply some damage reduction, just like as if a shield was being used. But if you want to try and target this thing with, say, your spell through the wall, you may be able to do that.
Blam. Yeah, hang on. Right character sheet. Where is it?
Okay, I'm just quickly.
Is it okay?
Okay.
Okay.
still
Right,
shaking
I'm
up?
going to then.
Oh, I'm just going to mute.
So that would be
James
2
for
actions to
listening.
cast the
You don't need to listen in on this
spell
call. There we go. I'm sorry, what was that, Mo?
Yeah. Let's have a go.
So that hits the wall, punches a hole through Golag's wall, does not strike this thing.
Damn, it's
Sepulcher.
getting away.
Okay, quick question. I'm assuming, although he's described as being a phantom, that Matthias is actually incarnate. He's not.
Yeah.
He can't pass through walls or anything. Great. Okay.
I don't think he can. No, at higher levels he can, but for now he is manifest.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So Sepulcher, seeing what Lillian has done, is going to spend 2 actions of work together, and Matthias is going to be the one who acts first, which is first actions to move. He's got a 25 feet movement. Can he get up to that wall where
Easily
if he can reach there?
drifts over there?
So he's going to get up there. Can I then, before Matthias takes the second action, have Sepulcher take an action?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. So he's going to cast Guidance.
Okay.
So to give Matthias, and they have that, connection, he's going to give Matthias some guidance on where to specifically try to attack with his. He's going to try to punch through the wall to grab it. Basically, that's just more flavor than anything. But
Yep.
So he'll get a +1. Its guidance will give him a +1 to this attack. So no, at 12.
You want to spend a hero
Might
point?
hit the wall. Yeah, yes, I do. Of course, I do. So here we
There's
go.
also 4. Ugh. Going in the wrong.
You know what? When he's first summoned, he's still waking up.
Yep.
He's not quite oriented. So boom, boom.
So let's see here.
Smash
You've
the wall.
used 1 act together, which would have been to give you guidance, which is what? Is guidance 1 action or 2?
1.
Guidance is 1 action. Use 1 for Matthias to move over there.
And 1 to attack.
Let me think here. 1 to attack, and 1 for guidance, which is your shared action, right?
Yeah.
And 1 to attack. You still have 1 more action. Matthias
Yes,
can
that's
attack
right.
a second time.
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay, go right ahead.
So obviously we got to make the subtraction here. Doesn't let you put that in as an option, but so it's a 16.
That is good
So
enough.
17.
So
Great.
he punches through, and you see Hannibal's long dead brother pulls out the remains of this thing, completely destroyed. Now, there is a chance that this thing will self-destruct. Would you give us a flat DC 5 check? So let's roll a D20. We're going to roll 5 or higher.
Yeah. 15.
It is intact.
So I think Matthias turns around and holding up this automaton and just smiles at Hannibal, like,
Yeah.
got it.
And it's hanging there loose. Sparks are kind of coming out of this thing.
Well, I guess he looked for Hannibal because Hannibal darted off right after.
Yeah.
That's true. Yes. So he looks around to show Hannibal. Because he was just manifested. He didn't know Hannibal had left already, and he wanted to show his brother that, like, look, he's doing his job.
Yeah.
Like catching frogs on the equivalent of the Thames.
Do remember?
That would be catching on the Parthas. On the Parthas River. So,
Nice.
with that, our little bit of excitement with the Clockwork Spy is over.
Nothing in the basement, I guess.
You get down. Well, I think what you hear is someone calling you guys when you're racing down there. Up here, up here. And you guys rejoin and find the this device.
Hannibal probably, like, he is kind of a wisecracker. He probably looks at Sepulcher and Matthias and says, "I guess you really can't eat those legs." That is, kind of in reference to.
Yeah.
And then he goes,
Does anyone know the range of those infernal things? Does someone have to be close by?
Dr. Earthsprung got a 27 on an earlier crafting roll, so I think these are things.
Oh, they're like drones?
Yeah, they have to be. They are clockwork driven, which means that they need to be wound up and have a limited, lifespan with it. The same reason why the other one needed to be deposited in Elwood's home. in Eckert House as opposed to just being sent there to go and, you know, do its evil deeds?
Golag, I think, who is nearby Golag right this second? I guess most of us, right?
Yep.
I'm going to check the outsides. And he goes storming out the front door with his hand on his pistol.
Sure.
Hannibal's going to shake his head and follow.
Okay. So Hannibal
just down there. Anyway.
Hannibal and Golag, go ahead and give us a perception check, please.
And he will probably say on the way out, "Stop dawdling," and you know, it's somebody. And
your shadow comes back.
Yeah.
So Hannibal,
as you're drawing your pistol, you know, Hannibal already has his out.
Yeah.
There's no dawdle here, sir.
So you step outside. Go that one. You could spend a hero point reroll if you'd like. Or
I mean, I kind of like him running into probably saving on the way out the door. Good Lord, man, get out of the
spins
way!
around again.
Oh my gracious!
So you finally make your way through, your door open, and race outside. The snow is falling down in the street we see before us. You look back and forth, and you can feel the eyes, like eyes are on you, but you cannot see them. Hannibal, you run out shortly after, and you can see that a little further down the street, trying to conceal himself in an alleyway, is another man dressed in with the collar turned up on his coat and a bowler hat that has a small rim of snow around it, suggesting he's been there for some time.
Okay.
Someone is
there a
watching
way
the
to
house.
like? I'm gonna nudge Golag, but then run. Like, is there? If I know these streets well enough, is there a way to get like behind him? So,
you can try to, yeah.
And I don't think I've seen this. I mean, I'll suggest to Kevin that I think I ran into Savan and a tray went flying, and there's drinks, and I have tea on my trousers, and I'm a mess inside.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna try to do that. Well, so you actually see Hannibal run in a certain direction.
So see Anna's.
We need to figure out a way to learn like hand signs.
Yeah.
Like I ran into this in another game too. This no one gets these cues because you can't announce it because then you give yourself away. But then anyway, hand signs.
Hannibal,
signals.
why don't you? Anna sees the man. Apparently, I know what's going on outside.
Yeah,
Anna
she's
says hi to
barking at
everyone. Why don't you give us a stealth check, please, Hannibal?
Okay.
Awesome. So you easily you race across and make it look, or you casually stride out, making it look as if you're going elsewhere, and then race around through some of the tightened alleyways in here, and then you almost silently stalk up behind this man, and you can see that he has a almost empty bag of like roasted peanuts. Cracking them open, there's shells to the side. Pops another one in his mouth. Appears to be human, but I mean a little rough looking. Why don't you give us a society check, please?
Okay.
See what you can tell about this guy from a glance. Definitely not an aristocrat, a working class guy. And honestly, if you were to guess, this has the look of a Daxman, one of the investigators under the employ of the Paridar Detective Agency. Golag's father.
Okay.
So you see this guy sitting and watching.
So I'm gonna, sneak up and, with blade and gun drawn and say, your boss's son wants to talk with you.
So he talks and turns, or stops and sort of like, drops his peanuts. Did not see that you were there. Looks down. You want to do that, my son?
I have him however, whatever. I don't know if there's a way you can do that in Pathfinder. But,
what are you trying to do?
I have a whole. I have a gun trained on him. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know,
but the thing is,
out,
what he's saying, I think the implication he's making is, do you really want to fuck with a Paridar Detective Agency?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, no, your character would know. So I'm giving you a chance to make an informed decision on that. The Paridar, you can definitely do this and bring it in, and what Hannibal is doing is completely reasonable with what he's doing. But what this guy is implying is, like, you really want to have the detective agency on your bad side? But he happily goes along with you, and he seems to have a half smile. So Golag, you finally get yourself, free, and you can see Hannibal is escorting this man, and you need not make a roll for it, but you can tell that this is a Daxman.
Sabin, get some more tea.
He was spying he was spying on us, boss.
Really? And he'll, if you still have your weapons out, he'll say, "That's all right. I'm sure he will be civilized at this point."
And he puts his hands down.
Hannibal doesn't mind putting his weapons up so he can draw them pretty fast.
Yeah. They're back, like a practice act.
Like,
yeah. And he says, this is just the kind of treatment that you give those in your father's employ.
Well, we've had an incident, so Hannibal here didn't know.
He looks
who
down
you
at
were.
the ruins on your clothes. I can see that. I would think a dry cleaner could help with that.
Can't good help these days, and has gives an eye
Sabin
roll
shoots you a
Sabin.
look that 2d6
More tea, Sabin,
score
Mike.
damage.
Get some tea for our guest and me, and then says,
I don't
"So
need
I'm
no
flattered.
tea, sir. I won't be staying long."
Well, I'm flattered at my father's interest at my affairs. How long have you been out there?
Long enough. Are you trying to charm this guy, intimidate this guy? What are you thinking?
I think I'm trying to be more. I'm probably slightly. Yeah, I'm definitely trying. I'm trying to be kind of sort of. We're all in this together a little bit, or that obviously
okay.
I have familial ties. I'm his boss's son.
Okay, so on that one, check my DM screens for
Diplomacy?
Yeah, the make an impression action. So let's see here, George. You may I don't think this actually came up when we played before, but like every version of D&D, it has that like matrix of relationships in it, but it expressly makes it that such that you can use an action to try and improve the impression you've made on them, or the
Yeah,
action.
I think it's called Make an Impression.
Yes. Yep.
Is the title, which I think is a really cool mechanic.
Agreed. Yeah. So this guy is unfriendly right now, dislikes you, and doesn't want to help. So why don't you give us I think the DC for this will be, let's see. Oh, it's his will, I think, which means it's going to be a 22.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's some situational modifiers in there, but
I will spend.
I am shocked.
Yes.
Come
All
on.
right.
So it's not a critical
It's beyond,
fail.
Yeah.
So he's not. It's not made worse by it, but he, he will not be charmed by you. I think maybe even he says, you're not half as charming as you think you are. A pale shadow of your father.
And you have the charm of my father. So it's like I'm almost talking to him.
He tops his hat, little snow comes off. Well, thank you, Golag.
You think I recognize him? I mean, it's a big organization.
It's another
so
one of those, like another guy, right? Like the Paridar Detective Agency has so many docksmen on their staff that you probably, I mean, you do have a really good eye for detail, so you probably recognize who this guy is, but it's another one of his numberless thugs, right?
Well, tell my father that as I continue with my kerchief on my trousers, tell my father I'm as clumsy as he thinks I am.
I shall. Then he looks around. Such a lot. If nothing else, I can tell your father he's got no need for concern about competitors. Leastways, not soon.
All right, be off with you now. Be off.
He turns to you, Hannibal, and doffs his hat to you as well. Good day, my son. And he leaves. And almost with as much smarm as a working class detective can manage, he walks straight across the street with no effort trying to conceal himself, turns around, and leans against the wall, staring directly at Shadow Illuminations. What do you guys wish to do next?
Change my trousers, and then
Golai comes down in a new tweed suit.
yeah, maybe Savan shows up with like on the hanger, some trousers, comes down to me.
Sure, perhaps.
Nice.
Yeah.
So to review our list, go ahead.
Well, just a quick question. Sepulchre is going to look at this little spy that Matthias is holding, just to see if it matches the previous one.
Yeah. I don't think you need to make a roll again, Dr. Ursprung. You very easily take this thing carefully apart with Igor's help, and Sepulchre looking over. Igor actually has like engineering tools built into him in kind of a coal punk astromech kind of way. And you're easily able to disassemble the stuff. This is absolutely made by the same hand. And it does not have recording equipment in it. It has the exact same ritual equipment in it.
Oh, there's a letter in there, isn't there?
A letter?
Oh, sorry, you mean the little
It's the same kind of equipment required to perform that ritual again, basically.
Yes.
So that's interesting. So this could have been. I'm doing this, in my ragged voice, but it could have been a backup, because obviously that hag was very clear that this had to happen, or it could have been a different ritual potentially to turn him back to the way he had been previously, or some other, objective.
Targeted at Shadow Illumination, right?
Oh,
or ritual.
yeah, maybe one of us, or even
Lady Lillian,
Possibly.
would you kindly give us a hag lore roll, please?
And I will share with the group too that last time we found that it contained this the hag lore kind of material, like that anchor that we found in the under the bed. There was like the whole thing drawn out, but in the middle of it was this mystical anchor of what was it? What was the item, Kevin? It was
it was some kind of effigy.
So presumably, if it was if that was its primary role, it would have that, and it did not, right, Kevin? It doesn't have.
You look at it,
like
no,
that.
like there's no
effigy or anything.
Yeah, and Lady Lillian, you take a look at this, and there is what Dr. Ursprung can, you can picture. He's got this thing, out in front of him, and he says, it appears there's a compartment in here as well, too, which is identical to what you guys saw in the other one, though it is empty, as was the other one. And Lady Lillian, you can tell the ritual materials that are used here, like the sort of chalk or grease pencil thing that was the manipulators that are into there, they are worn down to almost a nub, as if it has already done whatever work it was intending.
Oh, right, I see. So it had the manipulators to do the drawing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there may be a second drawing. We do not know.
Well, let's at least investigate the matter and make sure it has not. Number one, there's no more of these things, and number two, that it hasn't performed anything or prepared anything in our in the building.
So you guys can hear two things. One, your friendly dungeon master has changed the music.
Yes. Not for the good.
And two, the fire roaring in the fireplace roars, flickers, and then goes out. And you guys hear the rattling of chains and a voice carried down the chimney saying, "Let's take our mid-session break." So let's take 5 minutes, folks, to go and refresh beverages, stretch our legs, and then we will come back and see what terrible ritual has been wrought upon Shadow Illumination. So we'll be back in 5 minutes, folks. Oh, sorry about that, guys. It has been like minus 20, minus 25 here all break, and today it's just a hair below zero. So it has been a bit of a chore trying to get Anna back inside afterwards. It's like, no, fuck it, I'm playing the snow.
It's understandable.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We have I'm in New York now at the moment, and it was 50 today, but it's going to be 30 tomorrow Fahrenheit. So it's going to be quite a drop. So I appreciate her feelings.
Yeah, it has. Well, it's been like we had minus, like just before around Christmas, it was like minus 35 or something like that, minus 40 with the wind. So like she's able to like race outside and then race back. It was helpful for the weather to, make it where the Fahrenheit and Celsius meet. But and James, all is well with in Spain again now.
Muted, James.
Oh, you're muted in Zoom.
Yep. Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, she moved into a new flat last week and using a gas cooker for the first time, and then left oil on the stove and then left the room. So it promptly exploded.
Oh my god!
So flames up to the ceiling and all the rest of it.
Wow! Holy shit!
Oh my god!
Yeah, so she was a bit shocked at that and poured it down the sink and poured water on it, which was not the right thing to do, but fortunately didn't explode. So I had to have a little break to calm her down, and also to get on Amazon Spain and send a fire blanket and a fire extinguisher. So that's now arriving on Tuesday.
Wow.
That's the second reminder I've had today, no joke, about keeping a... what do you call it?
Fire extinguisher?
Fire extinguisher in the kitchen. So I believe that the universe has spoken. I need to go to Amazon afterwards.
It's time. All right. It's time.
So allow me to clear things up here. Now,
well, I don't know why you're putting a turn order up. That's necessary.
Yeah.
Hey, man, there's no need for that. It's escalation.
Yeah, easy there, Madison. Easy.
One of my favorite little things about
playing we were nice to that guy outside.
Seriously.
Yeah. And Carl, to be clear, like that was perfect role playing on your part too. I love that your character is in like anti-authoritarian. Fuck you! I don't care who you are. Stuff. I just wanted to make sure you understood what your character was doing in the context. So,
well, I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, I think Hannibal's probably thinking. I guess those Dax men need to be trained a bit better.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Like for a guy who is. Clearly bad at his job, both watching and not being spotted. Like, yeah. If you think about it, it's unlikely he would report that back to the Paridar Detective Agency because it wouldn't reflect well on him. So we left with the. Oh, go ahead, Sean. Yeah.
Well, Goleg's probably frustrated that he didn't have more pithy comebacks because anyone that's standing in the snow is not spending a lot of time with his father. Like he's talking far too familiar about his father. Like, let's be honest here. You're out there in the snow.
No,
like you're about 50 levels below my father. Let's easy there.
I've been watching. I think I mentioned this before. I've been watching the Tom Baker era of Doctor Who. So I've been watching some terrific performances by like Shakespearean trained actors as like nameless lackey number one who thinks about their station. So right. I've got so many fucking examples to draw from for just like jumped up idiots.
Jesus Christ!
Holy smokes, Hannibal! That's awesome.
I know.
I don't know if you saw the trailer, but the Sea Devils are back in the next special.
I honestly have sort of stopped watching new Doctor Who. I don't. It's I didn't enjoy the last bit of the Matt Smith era, and I wasn't really interested in pursuing the Jodie whatever her name is era too.
Whittaker.
Yeah, not because of the actress or anything like that. Just because the stories were not all that interesting to me.
I always blame the showrunner for problems.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they didn't spend enough money on the scripts and going into. I think
never the writers.
The Stargate guy said the How Come room.
Yeah.
Mo, any interest in being an agent, Mo? I like the way you think.
I don't know. I've got some contacts with the UK equivalent of the IATSE.
There we go. Okay.
Okay. So then, George may be asking in a professional capacity here, out of professional interest at least.
That's it.
All right, so
The last special was better, but let's get on with shooting things.
yeah, and it's, and I don't mean like if people are enjoying it, that's terrific. It's just that I really enjoyed and honestly, like, I enjoyed them more at the time because we didn't have Doctor Who. Like the first two guys, a lot of the Matt Smith stuff I did enjoy until I kind of like there was no fucking resolution. It was just constant like peril and constant more questions that weren't being answered. And like I've read comics for since a child. Like I know the kind of string along bullshit when I see it, and that's sort of what that series degenerated into. And yeah, it just wasn't.
And to be clear, I just so I don't get myself in trouble, I wasn't making fun of Chris Chibnall at all. I was making fun of myself. That was self-deferential. So.
Too late, George.
Too late.
Way too late.
Clearly, Chibnall's
no.
tuning into a D-list
He watches the show
RPG channel
every week.
That fucking straighten. That's it. All right. So, what happens? You guys will have about enough time to take a series of actions. The thing has gone out. There is the sound of rattling chains that seems to come from everywhere.
Not the chimney, so that the chimney wasn't.
The chimney is. It does come down the chimney. There is no voice telling you that there was going to be a break, but
right. But the fire did go out.
Fire did go out.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the lights in the room? Are the candles or?
They are gas driven. They are flickering as well. Does anyone have
company?
Okay.
I'm going to go to the gun cupboard and get my blunderbuss.
Okay. Get your blunderbuss out.
And I think I might cast. If I get time, I'll cast a light on something.
Okay.
Maybe there's a decanter of port or something on the table, and I'll just cast light on the top of it to give us something to see by if I've got time to do two things.
All right. Yep.
But blunderbuss first.
It's not so dark as like the light are flickering, but it hasn't been cast into darkness yet. And then you guys can each hear the moaning as the chains continue to rattle and something begins to manifest. And each of you in your own heads hears a voice, but it is a different voice for each of you. Would everyone kindly give us a will save, please, as the ghost of Yule past manifests. Uh-oh.
Will.
Okay.
Can we use a hero point?
You absolutely can use your hero point, yeah.
I'm going to re-roll that.
Oh, so we got one at the close of the...
Much better.
There you go. Okay. So, Sally, that is a fail right now, but not a critical fail. Do you want to spend a hero point to reroll?
Go on then. Yep. Let me rerun that.
And Matthias, that is also... I think you just got it set as Matthias. Did you roll for Matthias or did you roll for yourself?
I for both. So up above, you'll see Sepulchre was 16, and for Matthias, he got a 16. I figured I should do it that way. Since they had different
no,
stats.
that makes absolutely. Okay, so Sally succeeds. Okay. So Sepulchre and Matthias have failed. The DC is 18. Did anyone roll less than 18?
Well, I have so far, so I think I will spend a hero point to reroll Sepulchre anyway. I don't know if that translates to Matthias because he's his own entity. So I will reroll.
I'll let you do that. Yep.
Okay, cool. Well, not going in the right direction here.
Yep.
But maybe Matthias. Nope.
All right. So what happens is, and very briefly, what you can hear, and I'll try and do this in order here. Dr. Earthsprung, you can briefly hear the sound of your creator. There's, through a haze of drug-addled fugue and pain, you can hear the voice that comes to you in your nightmares at times. It's one of the only things that you collectively have an earliest recollection of is the voice of the man who created you. and you are sort of, for a brief moment, transported back to that table. Let me switch up our music here. Here we go. Hannibal. Very briefly, you can hear the sound, the of battle. You are back alive once again and on the battlefield. Beside you, your older brother. Come on! What do you think? Does Matthias have a nickname for you, Hannibal? Did he call you Hanny? Did he call you...
Maybe Little D.
Okay. See, well, that's actually longer than Hannibal, so it's not much of a nickname. So,
Lil D there.
D. Okay. So he just calls your name out, I think. And you can feel yourself very briefly brought back to that. Lady Lillian, very briefly, you are... can hear the sound of your mother's voice speaking, and it's something that is you have had burned into your memory because you have never heard anyone whose voice sounds quite like hers. There is a rich timbre to it, almost enchanting, that you can recall. You feel yourself very small and insignificant when you hear it. Sally? You have a brief vision of your first Yule with Captain Hunter and his wife Eugenia. It is a welcome supper. It is the first time they've welcomed you. You have a little gift that has been offered to you. And I think that it is something, some piece of jewelry that you are still wearing today. What do you think that might be?
I think it's a necklace I'm wearing.
So, Sally, you're unconsciously, your hand kind of goes to that. Golag, your vision transports you back to a moment of pain and blood. When you were completing the ritual necessary, carving out the markings onto your flesh that sent your shadow off to seek power from a secret master, the Night. And Sepulcher, I think you are cast back to a time of relative silence. A time when I'm picturing that the feeling of being haunted or serving as a vessel for a spirit, it must be a little bit like having constant chatty tinnitus. Yeah. Right? So there's this feeling of stillness and emptiness, but it also is a feeling of loneliness.
Yeah, definitely.
So the effect of this, as this thing manifests, first I need to roll initiative for it. You can feel this. This must be, each of you, the feeling that Elwood Eckhart felt when Past came to visit him. Add a turn here, and I'm acting on a 16. What you can feel, those of you who, no one has critically failed, so you're only losing one action. So those of you who failed, which I think is just Sepulcher and Matthias, you've lost one action. If you'd critically failed, you would have lost 3 and then slowly gained them back. So first up is Hannibal. This thing has manifested. What are you doing? Right in the middle of the room.
I guess he's going to quick draw, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's hostile, right? I mean, it says, Spirit, what do you want? What do you want with us?
You can tell that, you had to fight your way to get out of that memory. Mm-hmm. It was trying to force you into that. And you could tell it was not a pleasant memory. It would have been the battle where your brother was killed and where you were horribly maimed and killed.
Yeah. So do we know if we can even affect a ghost with our mundane weapons? I mean...
Don't know.
Yeah, so we don't know. Yeah, so, well, I guess if there's a way to... I guess he'll draw his weapons, quick draw, but I guess he doesn't really want to strike it yet until it proves...
Now, you could ready in action.
Can you ready in action?
Yeah, ready in action in Pathfinder 2 is you spend 2 actions to take one as a reaction.
Yeah. So
What's your reaction?
If it displays something hostile, then or some hostile attack, it'll open fire.
Okay. Golag, what are you doing? Oh, you're muted, Sean.
Yep. Let's see. Golag is. I think. Doesn't seem like detect magic would just. I mean, that seems obvious at this point, right? Would that?
Detect magic would tell you if this thing is magic or not. I don't think you need a roll for that.
Yeah. Because even if it was an illusion, it would be. I mean, whether it's an
this
illusion
thing,
or
again,
an
like when I imagine that some of you have encountered things that have affected your mind before. This thing tried to force you into an uncomfortable memory.
And I only get to. I can only cast each of my. Oh no, cantrips are constant, right?
Cantrips are at will. You know, as many times as you like. It's the other ones are restricted by day.
I think I'll cast a forbidding ward on myself.
I think it has to target an ally, doesn't it? Does it say ally?
Oh,
no, you know,
okay.
hold on. In PF2, allies can also mean yourself. So yeah, there's this thing around you. You have one more action.
You know, you're right though. You ward an ally. So what did you just say? Is that okay?
But an ally can always target yourself.
I'm sorry. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So you've got
cool.
+1 to your armor class.
And
saves, I think, importantly as well, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. I will tell my shadow to position itself, in a spot where it can perhaps reach the spirit, like go to a corner.
Sure. Your shadow has 5 hit points, just FYI.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matthias and Igor are capable combatants. Your shadow is really more of a, it's that clockwork bird in whatever it is, Clash of the Titans.
Right. Then fair enough. I'll have I don't know. I don't know if I can do anything with it. It's okay.
You want to draw a weapon? You want to?
Yeah, I mean it's a spirit, so I thought of that, but sure. Okay. I'll draw the weapon. Maybe instinctually.
Ms. Dumer.
Well.
Oh, and one thing I will just mechanically, just so you guys can make decisions based on this. This adopts the 2.0, or third edition going forward. Magical. If something is vulnerable to magic or immune to magic to non-magical things, it is almost always going to be resistant to it in some degree. So you'll do less damage with your weapons. It doesn't mean you can't affect them. Sorry. Go ahead, James.
I think she will go into a lash out at it.
Okay. So you have one action to
go
stride
into
him.
Tiger stance.
Yep. It's
and
second
then
action to stride.
A flurry of blows.
Okay, sounds good. Go ahead and make 2 attacks.
Yep.
And first attack is...
Must be a miss. No?
A miss, unfortunately, yeah. Can I spend a hero point on that, or... second one hits, though. Nicely done. However...
That should actually be... Remember, it should be a D8, so...
Oh, let's make that change quickly here. Ms. Demare. Go. D8. And crit size D8. There you go. That's right now.
Cool.
Go ahead and roll damage again. You hit with that one, just roll damage. Oh, you didn't.
I did. I went 4.
Okay, so 4. So unfortunately, so you lash out at this thing, and you can feel pieces of fabric are being pulled in this. It does not do a lot to it, but you are affecting this thing. Now you have your you've already made your second attack, so can't go back and bomb Berlin. Next up is Lady Lillian. What are you doing, lady? Yeah.
I think she's going to. Oh, spell strike is only melee, isn't it?
So,
Hold on, how
guys,
do I
with
get
6
into
of us and with 3 actions each time,
Yeah.
you can consider it and decide what you're going to do before it comes to your turn.
Yeah. In that case, it can cop for...
Okay. That is... Now, unfortunately, because of the scatter effect of the blunderbuss, that means, I believe, that...
Oh, okay.
you're going to catch Sally in the spray.
It's nothing like get a wide bore shotgun getting fired at you.
Yeah, really. Okay, so scatter. Let's see here. It
Combat's
does.
chaotic. This is just
It
an
is, and no,
example.
it makes sense for.
It is the last weapon you want to fire into a melee. Apart from maybe a flamethrower. Maybe a flamethrower would be worse.
All right, so that one is blasted, and Sally, you do take 1 point of damage.
Oh, okay.
Lady Lillian, that was only 1 action. You have 2 more. What do you want to
Shoot again.
do? Spend 1 to reload if you
one
want.
shot action. No, she's going to drop it.
Yep.
I think it's a free action, isn't it?
Yep.
And 2 actions. I think we agreed. She's then going to cast a spell, which is then going to put her into arcane stance first round next turn.
Okay, so what is she? She's casting light.
No, produce flame. I think.
Okay, go right ahead.
Come on, I need to set up this second monitor.
Now, I think you need to have a weapon in your hand to get in the stance, though.
She's unarmed. She's an unarmed strike person.
No. You need to have a weapon. You need to have a weapon, not your hand.
Okay. She's proficient in unarmed strike. Well, she'll pull the rapier for 1
Okay.
and
more
start
action.
casting.
No, you can't spell casting across rounds.
Unfortunately not. What other actions have I got?
That's it for
roll.
you. Past is
Yeah.
up. Okay, so then first, what happens? You guys hear the rattling of chains once again. And present comes. Would everyone kindly give us a will save once again, please? Okay. Oh, go leg. Okay, we got some fails in there. And only one.
Yep.
Golai, do you want to spend a nat 20 from Sally? Sally's completely unaffected.
Nice.
Go leg. And actually, I think, Sally, I'm going to give you +1 to hit for next round. You've so successfully navigated the feelings of the present. Golag, you are critically failing right now, which means you would lose all of your actions on your next round. Nice! So you're failed still, unfortunately. That means everybody loses 1 action for their next initiative pass. Because you're stuck in the reverie of the present. And the insight that you guys get is of a family. There is a family that seems to be quite happy and seems to have enjoying some kind of dinner, a Yule dinner, and you can see the smiling face of Elwood Eckhart at that dinner. Now, the other, let's see here. Oof. Okay, so Ms. Dumer, past turns to you, and we're making a. What is your AC?
19.
19, nice. So I need a 9 to get you. Misses you with its hand as it tries to grab you. Hits with its second hand. Ooh. Oh, you take 7 points of psychic damage as it passes through you. And yeah, it'll go for broke. Oh, it's actually just got a final attack here anyway. Nat 20. It turns and it's the hooded face seems to look right at you, and you are cast back as if into your the abyssal depths from which you came. blackness surrounding you with water completely enveloping you. You take 8 points of psychic damage.
Another 8.
Another 8, yeah.
Sorry. See?
Oh, 18 was a success. Yes, it was. Yes, it was, Golag. Yep.
Nice.
Awesome. So you shake free of that revelry, not revelry. And the other one...
Yay!
Yeah.
My forbidden ward works.
It for past and present. Then it is Sepulchre's turn. So I think you're down one action, right?
Okay, so I'm down one. I'm not done an additional action. I still have 2 left on this turn.
Oh, no,
and
you're
then
down.
The next turn I also have 2. So I'm down to 1.
Yeah, you're jarring back and forth between past and present right now.
Okay.
So you're done with one action.
I lose my readied action. I lose my readied action since it was that failed. Okay.
Go ahead. So I'll put you in order above him here. Here we go. Go ahead and make your attack. Well, Hannibal, did you fail this most recent save?
Yeah, I failed the second one.
So I think, you know what, that's fine. What I'll say is that your reaction will happen before this thing manifests. Okay. So go ahead and make your attack.
Yeah, I'm firing in a melee. I guess I have to.
I don't think there's no penalty in PF2, I don't think.
Okay. All right, so he takes a shot at the past one. I guess it's a miss anyway.
You want to spend a hero point?
No, I might need it for another save.
Okay. Okay. So unfortunately, you fire and miss.
It makes sense. I mean, Sally's jumping in the fray. I'm fighting.
Sepulchre, what are you doing?
Okay, so I was going to use 2 actions to do an act together, but now I have 1. So I will use 1 action to act together. So first, Matthias is going to walk up to position himself between past or present, either one, whatever makes sense, and Hannibal.
Yeah.
And then Sepulchre is going to cast guidance on Matthias, which is going to give him a +1 to various possible things, but including saving throws.
Awesome. Good. Okay. What does your guidance look like?
I think a sort of a ghostly image of Sepulchre comes out of him and goes into the person who's the target, which in this case is Matthias, and goes into him, and he kind of stands up a little straighter.
Awesome. All right. Dr. Ursprung, you're up next.
Okay, I see Sally looks in quite a bad way, so he's going to rush over to there.
Okay.
I've got 2 actions. Do I need an action to get to Sally, or are we close enough?
One to stride over to Sally.
Okay. And I'm just thinking which one's most effective. Searing Restoration. Yeah, I'll do the Searing Restoration.
Okay, why don't you click on that? Let's see what...
Yes, 1 action.
Nice, one action. Okay. So go ahead and roll 1d10.
Potent.
4 hit points back there, Sally. You still have 1 more action, Dr. Ursprung. So in theory, you could use that to give 2 actions to Igor.
Yeah, I'm going to get Igor to move in and attack as well.
Okay. Past or present?
He's going to attack past because that's the memory that really flooded back. And he says, get rid of that thing.
Solid hit. And not quite a crit, but still wham, hammer this thing. You can hear the rattling of chains as Igor's brass-shod fist passes through it. Next up is Hannibal. Sorry for moving around the initiative order. I was confusing additions.
Hannibal's going to shake things off, the cobwebs off. He fired that shot.
Yeah.
So he's going to...
So he has 2 actions this round because of the present memory, right?
Okay. So his first action, he's going to close.
Yep.
And stab at this guy.
Yep.
I guess that's a past.
Yep.
With his fancy new rapier.
Okay.
Nice. So yeah, I was, because you said we were able to get magic in between last and this one, right?
You were not. No.
Oh, we don't.
No.
Oh, okay. All right, so then ignore. So it's being. He's had it commissioned, but it's being prepared.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, bummer. All right. Well, he's gonna strike at it with his rapier anyway.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
So what was it?
And
You
then-
only added a +1 to hit with it?
Yeah, so it's 17 technically. Is
Oh, that's fine. Sorry, Carl, I misunderstood.
potency.
I thought you were meaning the one with the plus the extra weapon dice. That you couldn't afford yet, but yeah.
No, there's no way. I can't afford striking.
Yeah, that's fine.
There's
So
no way.
that's fine. Count as a +1. That's I'm totally
Plus
fine
one
with that.
potency. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so then
it's 35, just enough gold.
Nice 5.
Right.
Excellent. Now, and
We
you want a
strike.
free action to reload?
A free action to reload.
Okay.
Then that's. But
That's
okay,
it.
so I strike it with a +1 potency and I reload. I think that's it.
I think that's it for you. Yeah, but now you're back to full complement. So Goldlag, you're
Yeah.
next. What are you doing?
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Sally and
can't-
Hannibal are in.
Golag can't bear to risk attacking the furnishings anymore with his handgun, and so he actually casts with his cantrip light, and he's going to try to, just with the idea of doesn't have a lot against spirits, so he's just going to try to light the room to try to.
There is light active currently from Lillian. Lady Lillian casts it on a bottle of port.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to add to it. I'm going to try to brighten the room. Just in the theory that these spirits that it may.
You don't need to make an occult roll to know that that's unlikely to be effective.
All right. Okay. Well then.
I mean, you do have abilities, I believe, that are effective. Where are you here? Golag. The telekinetic projectile, I guess. Keep trashing your room.
Throw a hot burning log at it.
Yeah.
I guess I could shoot. I
Yeah.
will. I'll shoot. Fire
go
away
ahead.
then. Just don't miss. That's the. All right. Let's see.
First shot, you threw the pistol at him. Yeah, I need to go to the attacks on your first page.
Okay.
And use the one that is at the top that'll roll both attack and damage, please.
All right. Let's see.
It's called a coat pistol because it's only useful for shooting coats, though.
Right.
4 damage.
Exactly. There we go.
Okay. That is a hit.
Yes. What was I thinking? I should have been shooting this entire time.
Nice.
It did do 1 point of damage. However, it is also, you can spend another action to reload that if you like, and you could take a second shot if you were inclined.
Absolutely. I do both.
So click on attack number 2 at the top there as well.
All right.
Get out of my parlor!
Yeah, exactly. That was less successful.
Yeah, there's a whole window smashes.
Windows breaking.
Yep. Ms. Dumer, you think you can hear the sound of more rattling chains? The future is calling. What do you wish to do? You're in Tiger
this
stance
point-
right now,
I'm in Tigers.
so you have 3 actions.
Well, I think, first of all, I will put up my water shield,
Okay.
hydraulic deflection.
Okay, so you gesture and there's a swirl of water that appears at the end of one of your hands. 2 more actions.
But I'm still in Tiger stance, so I'll do the flurry of blows.
Okay. So go ahead and make 2 attacks. You have +1 to hit with these because of that save. Oh, you want to spend a hero point to reroll that?
Yeah, I'll just keep the one for when I'm dying.
Okay. When
Let's-
you guys have played my games before.
That's right.
Holy smokes!
Good
But
hit.
with that, past is completely gone.
Nice.
You have 1 more action. Present is, you might as well include present as being engaged with you because it is in the same spot. And quickly changing your enemies is not sufficient to get out on this. And you're not able to
Just a
connect
miss.
with it. You have 1 more action. You could make a 3rd attack
So
if you
I'll-
like.
I think I'll just step back.
Okay, so you step back 5 feet, leaving, I think, only Hannibal engaged with it right
Hannibal.
now. Yeah. Lady Lillian, what do you wish to do?
I've only got the 2 actions this turn,
Yes.
so I failed. So she's just going to hit this with Produce Flame.
Nice.
At me.
That seems to be particularly effective. Oop, no. The robes catch a bit and fire. It moans out and it rattles its chains. I think that's it for Lady Lillian. And now, guys, the calling of the future. I would like one more will save from everybody as the future comes calling.
Yes.
Nat 20 from Sepulcher. Awesome.
I'm gonna have to spend a hero point.
You want me to make it easier for you, Carl?
Yeah.
Everybody gets a hero point.
Okay.
Been another half
Yeah,
hour.
awesome.
Better. Oh, I might have made it. Okay.
Yes, you did make it. So the only one who failed thus far is Sally with not a crit fail, and Golag failed. So I think that's it. Yeah, because Hannibal re-rolled. So once again, you guys are brought very briefly, in some cases longer in others, to another vision. And in reverse order, Sepulcher, you can find yourself standing over Hannibal's grave with Matthias next to you. And you can tell from the transformed circumstances this is in the very, very, very distant future. While you guys have each other as companions, which you may find as a solace, the converse of that means you will never be free of one another. Golag, you very briefly have a vision of yourself working behind a desk at the Paridar Detective Agency. The upside is, this appears to be the director's desk. And a vast, sprawling web of files and agents and whatnot will be stacked before you. The massive power and responsibility that comes with it. But of course, the isolation that comes with that as well, and knowing that you have just stepped into your father's shoes. Ms. Dumer, you briefly have a vision of standing on the wharf of the wharves of Paridar, looking back at a absolutely decimated city. A complete ruin, choked in seaweed and rubble. The only living things being the fish and other undersea things, because the entire city has been cast underwater. It is now your domain. Lady Aurelius, you find yourself standing around a cauldron. 2 shadowy forms stand nearby, calling your name and referring to you as sister. You can see your hands are old and withered and twisted, and you can hear them calling in an ancient and awful tongue, bringing a curse of the coven down on someone else. Hannibal, you have a brief vision of yourself bringing yourself back from having fed on the body of some dying young woman. There are marks in the neck, and you can feel the coppery taste of her blood satisfying on your tongue as the last of it is swallowed down your throat. You can hear as well the shout of hunters pursuing you. And finally, Dr. Ursprung, you are standing in a laboratory, and there is something underneath a large canvas blanket. Blood stains on it, or the stains on it, brown, suggest dried blood. And we can see nearby the cast off bloody ruins of at least 6 women's frocks. The materials needed for stitching and careful exotic surgery are before you as you gaze down at who will be your companion. And then all of you are brought back. Anyone who, I think the only one who, no, nobody critically failed. So those who failed are Sally and Golag. You'll lose 1 action this round. That's it. Present does get to act now and turns to Hannibal. Hannibal, what is your AC?
Hannibal's AC is a 19.
19, very nice. I narrowly missed getting a critical hit on you.
I know, I guess it went up. It must have gone up with the level?
It does, yep. It's a function of the level. So 7 points of damage. No, sorry, 9 points of psychic damage as the present turns to you. And then it turns to Igor. What's Igor's AC? It's like 19, isn't it?
Go 17. 17.
So I very narrowly hit him. However, Igor is not affected by psychic shit, so he takes no damage. Nice. And then a final... So this thing is just lashing out seemingly in every direction. Then Sepulcher.
So just to be clear, I failed last round, but I made it this round. Do I have 3 or 2?
2
actions. 2. Okay, great.
Yep.
So I will spend both as act together.
Oh, hold on. You were down how many last turn?
I was down to 2 last turn.
So you're... you mean effective 2, or you're down to 2 actions?
I was down to 2 actions.
You're back up to 3 actions. You have full actions.
Okay, great. Okay, perfect. So I will expend all 3 on act together. I will take the first action as Sepulcher, who, fresh with this vision of his mind of Matthias's grave, just cries out in agony. And what we see is bluish energy come up from the ground underneath Matthias, up through his body and into his fists. So this is a boost Eidolon spell.
Nice.
That is now giving him plus 2 to damage. So the 3 actions that Matthias takes are: 1, do I need to spend 1 to move closer to present?
Matthias, I think you moved him up last turn, right?
I moved him up to past, but I didn't know how close.
I'm fine with him being in the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So he's got 3 actions. So he's going to start off by making a fisticuffs attack.
Okay.
So 22.
So, he has plus 2 damage, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And then he'll make a second attack.
Oh!
Holy shit! And 10 damage from that. Yeah, so Matthias just goes into a frenzy, grappling with this other spirit and tearing away. You can hear chains being thrown off. For the first time, these things don't seem like just weird spectral things. They seem desperate to get away from Matthias's fury. Okay,
well, Matthias feels the fury surging through him and takes a 3rd attack with his last action.
Look at that! Holy shit! Amazing. Wow. What does it look like as he tears Present apart?
I think he's seeing that it's damaged. His fisticuffs are going to be grabbing it and rending it and tearing the cloak or whatever it is in half and releasing the spirit.
And then as it drops away, it just dissipates into mist and shadow. Amazing. Dr. Ursprung, what are you doing?
Okay, Igor, he's going to make his way over to Future. He seems unaffected by these creatures, so he's going to wade into that one.
Okay. So you could take 2 actions from Dr. Ursprung to give Igor 3?
Yeah, he'll have 3.
Totally, James. So you have 3 attacks then. Go ahead and make your first one.
Yeah, I've done the first one.
Oh, percussive sedation. Yeah, solid hit.
And then he shall attack again, which is definitely a miss.
And the 3rd.
And his 3rd and
that
final.
One. Oh, your desk is now beginning to collapse, Golag.
Yeah, he'll look around a bit guilty.
So Adam still has 1 action then.
Am I close enough still to Sally?
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay, I'm going to try and do battle medicine on Sally.
Is battle medicine 1 action or 2?
It says 1.
Oh, then that's fine. Yep, that's fine.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, so give us a treat wounds check. Or, sorry, medicine check, not treat wounds.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Go. Awesome.
Oh, nice
Nearly
one.
a crit, too. So, Sally heals 2d8 damage.
2d8. That's 9.
9.
What? Hold on.
Are you injecting her with the vampire serum?
No.
Vampire fish.
I'll save that for somebody else.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Okay. And then... Well, I just want to check one thing here. I don't want to rob you of a crit if you're going to get one. I keep her... So what it is so there's a crit success. You can also choose, instead of rolling against a DC 15, you can choose to roll against a DC 20, in which case you increase the hit points gained by 10. So a bit of a risk-reward decision. You roll against 15 to roll 2d8. You can roll against 20 to gain 2d8 plus 10 back. So
all right.
Something to decide. Okay, so that is it for Dr. Ursprung. Hannibal, what are you doing?
I guess Hannibal is in the melee with the future, right?
Yep.
So he's going to, strike, I'm going to rapier and then go from there. Rapier, probably gun, and then reload rapier. Because the rapier seems to be more potent. I don't think...
And I think that if you do it in that order, that's where your gunslinger ability allows you to use the gun, right? Without
Okay, so rapier first.
You go.
Come on.
That is a solid hit.
Okay, and then it's going to shoot. That's with the number 2, right?
Number 2, that's correct. You want to spend a hero point?
Yes, I'll spend a hero point.
Okay, go ahead.
To reroll that. Not some. Okay, and then I guess he can reload.
Yep.
Right, with the free action, but then strike with his rapier. The third shot. Oh, am I done?
Yeah, no, because you have to combine the strike with your rapier with reload.
Oh, so I strike first and then No, I thought I struck, reloaded. Okay, so am I done then?
You're done then. Yep. Golag, what are you doing?
Having seen myself in my father's chair, he thinks to himself. He finds himself thinking, "What is this thing's weakness? Is it possible I can make an occultism roll?"
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, like a seek. Give us an occultism check, please.
15.
Okay, so this thing seems to be tethered weakly to everyone's. Because of the reaction on at least on Matthias's face, you thought you heard something about Hannibal's grave as he was, raging out and racing on this thing. What you can tell is the cold of the grave that this particular future seems to represent definitely seemed to be vulnerable to Lady Lillian's fire spell.
Mm-hmm. I will. Was that 2 actions?
That's only one action.
That was one.
Yep.
He maybe he yells out, "Hit it with fire!" and he goes for the fireplace.
Nice. Okay. So one action. You got a log in your hand now, or a brand.
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Dumer, you're up next. What are you doing?
I guess now that I'm feeling a lot more chipper, I'll step back forward and do my tiger stance again.
Unless you told us that you left it, you're still in it.
I'm still in it. Well, in that case, even better.
Yep.
In which case, I will do my strike.
Yeah. That's actually a miss. Want to spend a hero point?
Well, in that case, it's a hero point time. We're not. She can't be missing. This isn't.
Solid hit.
That's more like it.
Does Sally have any modifiers to hit currently that we're forgetting? Guys, one off from a critical hit. You told us that she angled herself to be flanking with Hannibal, right? Isn't that what I heard?
Oh yeah, that's.
It's that Netherlands internet sometimes.
Yeah,
I see I miss things.
It's not always clear what I'm saying.
Fantastic. Well, in which case, this Future's armor class is 2 lower, in which case that is a critical hit. So that did 4 points of damage. That's super. That's not terribly dramatic. However, it is bleeding. This thing is not immune to bleed, so it is beginning to leak out some of its the corporeal essence. Holy shit! Is that your second hit?
Number 2.
Fucking hell. That is not a critical, but still 8 damage. My goodness. Well. So Sally goes in. Now that is a total of 2 actions so far. You could use a third action to make a third attack, if you like.
I'll give it a go, but it's a bit of a long shot.
Okay. Oh, actually, hold on.
Not bad.
Flanking.
Flanking +2, right?
Boom.
Yeah.
That is it. So,
Nice.
what does it look like as Sally leaps in and tears the ghost of Yule Future?
And you see shreds flying everywhere, and then you could see she's left standing there with tatters of it hanging from her claws as she stands over the collapsing critter.
And with that, Golag, you've got that smoking brand in your hand. As soon as the last of them goes, it suddenly catches back a flame. The fire returns to the fireplace, and lights stop flickering. So, what do you guys do next?
First, Golag looks around the living room, surveying all the damage to the furnishings, the wall, the carpet.
The hole that you shot in the door, in the window. I mean, someone shot in the window.
Yes, come on now. Indeed.
I think we're going to have to build them, boss.
Well, we can build a client. Yeah, we'll build a client.
Could I?
So, well, it appears that we perhaps went through what Eckert did. I presume.
Mo, did you have a question?
I was going to say, is this? Is there any way of tracing it? Could we say, well, this has come from over there, or is it just like self-contained?
Clockwork, I think, had a.
How would you go do that?
Oh yes, the clockwork did it. Yeah, so presumably somewhere upstairs, maybe on the roof, it drew something.
Yes, let's look for it. There's bound to be, and I'll describe it and hold up my sketchings or whatever and say, we're looking for this. Let's see where it came from.
It does not take you long, given the determined investigative skills of the Illuminators. You're able to find it, and with a sneaking suspicion, Golag, you find it under your bed.
Violation of my slumber.
There is another one of those little effigies, identical in the type of hair and type of stick and whatnot. Placed right in the center of it.
The effigy. I'm sorry, I can't spell it.
Effigy.
Yeah.
Effigy. So is that the link? The effigy is, and not the target. By the way, they're the same.
From your understanding of hag magic, yes, it would be something that would be a link to the ritualist, not the target. The link to the power that fuels it to the target is the feeling of passion. In which case, depending on how the ritualist feels about you guys, that likely speaks to the power of the Harrowhaunts.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't really scry, because the person that cast this is invested in this, but we've got no way of linking them. So what do we do now after we've had a stiff drink and found it? Do we want to go on and just...
Dr. Ursprung, would you like to do first aid on Hannibal?
Yeah, I was just going to ask if I could do that.
Okay. Actually, and Ms. Dumer as well. Ms. Dumer is still down by 2.
I need... What do I need for a normal medicine check
just
out?
normal medicine.
Yeah, I've got 11.
Can't help Hannibal. Now, what about Sally? Oh, you can spend a hero point, actually, and re-roll that. DC is 15.
Yeah, I'm going to re-roll it.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh, just... He needs the pressure of battle.
Yeah.
This
Do you want to try and
Those
treat
good rolls up on
Sally?
me.
Actually,
yeah.
Golag's down by 1 as well.
This Sally and Golag.
Going in the right direction, though. Ooh.
So
Golag. He pays the bills.
That's right. You guys each get band-aids. He gets a full, workup.
Yeah, I go on to that. Come on.
Well done, Dr. Ersbrock. Well done.
All right.
So like these effigies are like they have like pieces of hair and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So do you and Eckert go to the same barber? I mean, how did they collect your hair, Golad? Or boss?
So,
From what Lady Lillian has said, the hair is unlikely to be from the target. It's from the rich.
Okay.
It's
Something
From
the-
them. Other way around.
Well, if we've got a suspect, could we just inspect what their hair? Well,
we don't
we've got
have
suspects,
one
could we
yet.
just go to their barbers.
I mean, presumably this would be the, I guess
The
it could be the hag or perhaps the hag's patron, but I suppose the hag.
I mean, do Dr. Ersprung and I maybe, since we kind of hang out in the clinic and the lower classes in town, lower places in town, maybe like the underworld might know what's going on or where these hags might be, or have we heard of them? Or
That just wildly asking around about hags is
no, I'm
unlikely
just
to
wondering
get.
if I guess okay, all right. We haven't heard any rumors or where they would hang out.
It seems to me we should maybe investigate these other potential suspects or
Well,
providers
whoever's
of
selling them the clockwork.
information.
One thing,
Well-
Sepulcher, that you remember, there was only one woman's voice you heard with that aristocrat's voice and the craftsman. There was not three.
Yeah, she and the I would think she and the others in the circle. So either Crockett or Henry Gordon, the manager of the shop floor. And then of course Frederick is still on the list. So the
Yes.
nephew. So these are our prime. I think our targets have the people of interest have remained the same. I feel
Of
like we
course,
go ahead.
of course, Percival made these contraptions. Percival, led them.
Another, yes.
Yeah.
We should go talk
So-
to that person first.
That is not a bad idea, Hannibal. Matthias agrees.
Shall we split up?
I think we need to
Of course.
cover more
See,
ground.
it seems so obvious. Let's go in 6 different directions and see what we can
So
come
the
up.
way that the barring any kind of violent incident, which can of course always occur, the way that we treat this is as the exploration mode. It is evening, so do you guys wish to go and disturb these people at night? Which, given someone tried to fucking brain damage or brain wipe all of you, I guess that is something to bear in mind as well. Is that remember, Golag? One of the things that Skulldug told you was that these things, the Harrowhaunts, take information. It's not just that they're an attack or a weapon; they're intended to gain information for the their master or mistress.
Indeed. So presumably, were they here to strip secrets from me since they were under my bed? That would seem to be the case.
Yes, they may know what you know.
Would any chance of me knowing whether they accomplished that, Kevin, since I'm the target?
Yeah, give us an occultism check.
Okay.
I mean, you'll have a.
I will spend a hero point.
Sounds good.
I assume that's a fail, right?
That is not. Yeah, not. Great.
There we
you
go.
go.
Nice.
No, you're fairly confident that. I'm trying to remember which of you was lost for. I think only Sepulcher was gone for an entire 3. Or no, did you guys? Were any of you guys subject to a critical fail, or did everyone get at least just a partial?
I think partial.
Yeah. So you guys have managed to. This thing never managed to force you into the kind of reverie experience where it would be able to gain that information.
Okay.
And you did destroy them.
Mm-hmm.
So it is unlikely that they've gained any information, though the ritualist behind this thing may be aware that the Harrowhaunts were unsuccessful or destroyed.
Obviously, someone knew, Golag, that you were investigating this crime.
Yes, I the thought occurred to me that this it's circumstantial still, but it possibly implicates my father in some of it. I mean, he's the primary one watching all these locations. It's not restricted to him, but he definitely rises on the list of possible participants in the situation. It would seem pursuing perhaps who this female aristocrat was, and then also
the aristocrat's voice was the man, not the creepy woman.
The hag was the woman.
Yes, got it. Yes.
And Sepulchre will kind of, I think it was Darren, I think it was Dr. Earthsprung who suggested potentially going to Percival, who might know then who was responsible for ordering these modifications.
Yeah.
To the device.
And at least maybe does it make do this? Well, shall we? How does the spells work? Do they go once a day? Do you refresh spells, Kevin?
Once per day. Yeah. When you complete a rest, that's when you get your spells back.
I mean, Golag could use that anyway. Perhaps we go ahead.
I was just saying, I need 10 minutes to get back a focus spell, but I wouldn't mind the time to get back a first level spell either. So it's basically. You know that Sepulchre will go along with whatever Hannibal / Golag want to do.
Maybe first thing in the morning, and we go at least in two directions. One, as Dr. Ersprung suggested, with the chief engineer, and probably also would probably go Crockett, who's also in that line. And then if we can think of what to do about identifying the male aristocrat, Sepulchre, could you tell the age of the voice by chance?
It was an adult, right? I feel like it
was an
really
adult man
and
did not seem aged.
But I would know it if I heard it again.
I mean, possibly you could go to Frederick. We haven't gone to him yet, and pursue it in that manner, because he does travel in those circles as the son of the of this, as the scion of the man in question. So maybe those two directions. If anyone else has any thoughts, and we do this
so
first
those
thing in the
would
morning.
all be at Eckert Industrial. So you guys could all.
Oh, that's great.
True.
Yeah, Frederick will be there, or should be there at least as the executive, as should
Crockett.
Dick Crockett, they've said, has actually been taking time off because of his son. Right, little Lucas has been quite ill, so with his change of heart, rather than forcing him to continue to work, he has given them time off and access to, or at least that's what he says in the papers, that he's going to give access to the medical necessities for little Lucas.
Well, perhaps Percival Seaton and Frederick Eckert in the morning, and then we take it from there and pursue Crockett at home if that's what we determine after these interviews.
Okay. So then, we'll say that the evening, you guys have one evening to rest up, so everyone will
maybe we stay all in the manor for safety and, etc.
Certainly. We're going to say that both Hannibal and Sally, at some point, Dr. Ersprung will be able to get 15 on his roll. We're not going to sit here and keep rolling. Yeah. Perhaps if we removed your arm and stitched someone else's arm on. No! Just suggestion all the time.
And we can change spells if we need to at this time?
Okay. Golag, yes, you can. Yes. Sepulchre cannot, but Golag can, and Lady Lillian. You can change your cantrips and your daily spells if you like. So you guys can go ahead and make those changes. Sally is fully healed up, as is Hannibal. Now, I may not be a surprise that your dreams are haunted by the visions of past, present, and future that you saw. Particularly, Sepulchre, where does your mind rest in the evening.
I don't think he can get the image of Matthias's grave out of his mind. So he had started to feel that Matthias was still alive, but it's the reminder that no, he's gone, and this is just this remnant of him he's been able to keep in existence. So I think it's weighing on him, and it's depressing him overall. But he also feels a continued purpose to keep Matthias's remaining essence in this world to be with Hannibal.
Okay. Golag, where does your mind rest as you find yourself in the wee hours and alone?
I think Golag goes to his father, lecturing him that he'll clearly never rise to the level needed to command at his own station. You know, you're just not the son that I thought you were. Blah blah blah. You know, and this kind of like.
Yeah. Ms. Dumer, or Madame Dumer, I guess. Where does your mind go as you lay yourself down?
Well, I lie in bed and, in the
Actually, it could
bathtub.
be in a tub. You do need to rehydrate, right? So you could be in a
Yeah,
tub.
so I'm in my bathtub. And in fact, I'm sleeping very well because I know the future means that everything is submerged under the water and it's all mine, all mine.
There are soft whispers in Olgolfu that drift in your ear as you fall off to sleep. Lady Aurelius, where does your mind drift to as you fall
Fully
off?
childhood memories, maybe, the very early ones where you're in the crib or in the pram and you can see vague glimpses of your parents.
So you're in
mother.
the pram, and instead of having like some, like cute thing hanging down from the front of it, there's a ghastly like crow skull and a the foot.
Yeah, little sort of like one of those mobiles, but with like skulls and things. Yeah.
But you have been learning the secrets of the hags from a very, very young age. Hannibal, as you lie down to catch some rest, probably on the divan in the study, where does your mind go?
So Hannibal probably doesn't sleep very well at all. He's every time he goes to bed, he's like reimagining. I don't know. It's almost like in every scene, like the end scene is he's biting into someone's neck or on someone's arm. Even in the war scene, like he's biting on a dying companion to drink blood. Like kind of what were all these things that were shown. He's reliving the fight with the vampire, and instead of like stepping away from it, he scoops up like blood of that dying vampire. Like in the future, he's enjoying being the hunter and waiting for those hunters to come and get him. Then he wakes up with a start, and that coppery taste does not leave his lips. He kind of gets up, washing, spitting out.
Does Hannibal keep his clockwork arm on all the time, like the whole of it on all the time, or does he take it off?
I mean, he does. He might normally take it off, but because we were attacked, he might have it on.
So I imagine you sort of wake up and there's this weird dead weight next to you because it has to, the clockwork will wind down, right? So you'd wake up in the morning and be like, what the? Oh yeah, have to crank it back up again. Then finally, Dr. Ursprung, as you are lying down, what is this?
Yeah, he'll be struggling to sleep with the memories of his sort of creation, or the very, very sort of very small bits of memories, wondering if he'll ever meet his creator or ever find out what his purpose was. And he tried to console himself that he's doing good and putting his creation to good, but again worried about the future. And he's trying to convince himself that he would never, be sort of drawn to create such a creature as himself, like he saw in his future visions. So he's quite worried.
After a fitful night of sleep, you guys are all. Savin has laid out a wonderful breakfast for everyone. The next morning, you're all getting a chance to refresh yourselves and enjoy your repast. It does seem as if Ms. Dumer is the only one who is happily digging into her, salted kippers first thing in the morning. Everyone else having had a more is less chatty at the morning repast. Is there anything else that you want to have happen before you guys depart for Eckert Industries? Eckert Industrial.
Ready to go.
I think during the middle of the night that Sepulchre would have dismissed Matthias to get his own rest.
Yeah.
And then once the morning has come, we'll then summon him back because he knows that it's going to be important to have Matthias's skill set with us as we go.
To give you context to the Paridar, like anything that's in D&D is in Paridar. So, supernatural creatures and whatnot is not unusual. You're definitely, there's no one like you in the setting, but spiritualism and mediums and whatnot are a very, very popular thing for all different, strata of society. So
okay, great.
It would not be
it won't be weird, for me to walk around with a
It'll
spirit.
be unique, but oh, look at that, but it does not. It would not be like, oh my God, call the police, kind of stuff.
Right. Trigger. Kill that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay.
So,
good. Yes. Perfect.
Allow me to bring you to.
I was just going to say,
yeah.
sorry, Kev. I just wanted to ask Golag, have we got any leverage or any sort of inside dirt on this company that we're going to visit? Anything we could use to leverage some more information out of this Percival?
Well, we do have, let's see, Addison Wright, we do have leave to question and talk to whoever we want. So, and everyone's going to know who we are. So we do have, that's for starters.
Just trying to wonder how we could get this Percival to give up his information, because he's, I would assume, going to be really.
Yes. Well, we have the evidence. We should probably bring one in a sack, and for that we are that we'll. It's a very serious. We'll probably, at least, it's a very serious matter of the highest consequence, and have the evidence. Specifically, we don't know much about Percival. We don't have much on Percival Seaton. So.
Okay. I'll hide that in Igor. I'm going to put one of those little.
Sure.
I'll put it in a compartment so it's
Opens
not
up.
obvious when we go in.
Place in. All right. Then, after summoning a couple of cabs, you guys are brought down to Eckhart Industrial. So allow me to first remember where this is. It's very easy to get lost in Paridar, I tell you.
That's right.
Such lazy, low-hanging jokes. Madison, come on. Okay, here we go. Get everyone reorganized here. There we go. And in contrast to the opulence of Eckert House, the entrance to Eckert Industrial is a much more workman and working class kind of character. They are a leading manufacturer of clockworks and other like heavy engineering, as well as the sort of growing industry for popular clockwork devices like watches and the I can't remember what they call it, but there's a clockwork, an alchemical version of a camera, so popular with all the broadsheets in the papers. You guys arrive, and after, is it Frederick that you wish to speak to first? Or do you want to
I
speak?
feel like we should start with Percival, but I am willing to go along with the group.
Yeah, let's. I mean, since we have more of an angle on Percival,
Sure.
with
Even,
the
or you
device.
could even go with Percival, like, oh, we found this device. Can you help us? Type of thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Good idea, Hannibal.
Play it coy as opposed to
Yeah.
gonna,
Yes.
So you're introduced to, there we go, Percival. Where are you? My friend. Percival has an office not far off from the work floor and past. You can picture your past in these, wood-floored floors, the wood-floored building, wood-floored floor. So you guys show up, all right? It's a fucking class pros like that. You pass by a bunch of offices where you can see there are draftsmen busy at work with all sorts of inventive things. Dr. Ursprung, I think that there's a couple of times when you stop and linger a moment or two just to get some ideas, because there's some truly ingenious work being produced at Eckert Industrial. And you're led into an office that looks pretty... It's what you expect from a, clockwork genius, as it were. And at the desk working there is a middle-aged man with a big, handlebar, or not handlebar, but that Victorian mustache, honey drip. But no, it's not quite honey drip. But anyway, whatever you call that mustache. He's at work at the table, and when you knock on the door, he just says, "Come," and he doesn't look away from the table. And he seems to be puzzling over some kind of problem. You guys are all able to file in, and it's only when he hears the heavy footfalls of Igor that he finally turns and looks and... What is this? Who are you?
Mr. Seaton. I am Golag. You probably have possibly been notified by Mr. Addison Wright that we are investigating...
Right. He's a lawyer, isn't he?
He is a solicitor, more specifically, for Mr. Elwood Eckert himself.
Looks around. Am I being dismissed?
No. Relax, man, relax. But we do need your assistance in a matter involving Mr. Eckert.
Hold on. I'm not going to come and talk to just nobody. You got some kind of proof, some kind of letter?
I hand him the letter from Addison Wright. That,
okay.
I
so
think
you get it, and he looks it over. You hear him mutter something about lawyers under his breath, and then he hands it back to you. All right. He makes a big production of setting down his pencil and his ruler, sits in his seat, crosses his hands. Well, then.
I can assure you this is, we would not trouble you except of a matter of the highest importance involving your boss's boss's boss. And
what do you mean, his nibs?
Do I have any idea what that means?
The boss.
Yes. So we are here to ascertain, use and utilize your expertise. Show him Dr. Ursprung.
One thing I will say, would you guys give us a society check, please? That one. Sepulchre's like, the gun has got a gun! Golag and Lady Aurelius, there is no... For this guy, from the reputation that you've heard from Elwood Eckhart, like, people wouldn't speak ill or, like, dismissive of him, even if he wasn't in the fucking room. Mm-hmm. So this is the fact that he's taking such a flippant approach to referencing him. He's a man who is spoken of in reverence, not because he deserves it, but because people are terrified that he'll hear and bring down his wrath on them. Remember, this is a guy who will, like, pinch pennies when he's a billionaire, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, millionaire in the
right.
Paridar times, but he says, well, what questions?
Well, first of all, what is your opinion of Mr. Elwood Eckhart?
I ain't got no opinion. Good man to work for, I suppose. Good work. He knows talent when he sees it. That's for sure.
Well, tell us what you think of this. Show him Dr. Ursprung.
And I just gesture to Igor to open up this compartment and show him and put it on the table.
Okay. You guys can give us a perception check, please. Yeah, his eyes, Dr. Ursprung, you can see his eyes get big as soon as he sees it. He does not have a particularly good poker face, it seems. And Hannibal, you get that same kind of impression that, like,
I think Hannibal's not really wanting to talk because he's kind of hot-headed.
Yep.
So he's going to kind of make sure that we're not, he doesn't call the rest of his employees to help him out, or
so
you never know.
Sure.
So we're watching the door.
As Adam, you're quite close to him as Agor opens it up. You can see there's a look of, like a flash of panic that goes across his face, and then he tries to collect himself, and he says, "Well, it's only my opinion, mind, but I think it's broken."
You'll have to do better than that. We came here to talk to the Eckert Industrial's chief engineer, and this is a product of the company.
So you say. And
it's right on there, and I show him. I maneuver.
Well, yes, these are parts that are manufactured by our company, but I mean, what's this other stuff in here? Adam, you don't need to make another roll. He's clearly trying to fib here. Sepulchre, hearing this guy's voice now, much as my accent's slipping all over the place, it's exactly what his. It's the voice you heard in your vision.
So I will try to catch
one of at least.
Okay, so I will try to catch Golag's eye or Earthsprung's or anybody who's engaged with him, and give a nod to confirm that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put my big finger on the desk and you made this, and I'll be pointing straight at him.
Give us an intimidation check, please.
Nice.
And I'm gonna roll that.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
Which is a handy reminder. Everyone gets another hero point. So he looks up at you, Dr. Earthsprung, and kind of trembles back, and he's like, "All right, I made that, but I ain't got no control over what someone does with it after it leaves my shop, do I? Hey? Do I?"
Why?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, why are these parts missing? Why is there no recorder you'd expect to see it?
Custom order, you see. Custom order, they want it that way. They wanted no other hands on it.
Who would want such a thing?
He looks up at you, kind of, and then looks over at the open door. And then kind of looks back.
And I'll shake my head as if you ain't going out that door.
He leans in. "You gotta understand. I had to do it. I was told. Big man's gonna, or will be soon. Master Frederick."
I'll push the paper and pencil across the table for him to sort of gesture for him to write down exactly.
I ain't putting that in writing. Is
No
he
one
in
else
trouble?
will see it.
He looks up and he's scared enough to answer, but he's not scared enough to incriminate himself.
So he said Frederick.
Frederick, yeah. He's in a state right now. So mechanically, what Adam has pushed him up at least one. So he is at the very least. He's not actually friendly with you, but he's been scared into being friendly.
Golag, seeing the look from Sepulchre, says, "Oh, is this the one?"
it is.
What's wrong with your automaton?
Nothing.
I am fine. Worry about yourself.
It's also, to add to his list of traits, he's also apparently a bigot, because he's referring to it as if it still belonged to you. So, look, I don't want no trouble, but I can't, so I'm not putting nothing in writing. If he writes down, if Master Frederick finds out, you see what he does to Master Elwood, Mr. Urquhart. What you think he's going to do to me, hey?
Who else is involved in this?
There was some woman. Unnatural woman. I don't know. She kind of looks over at Lady Lillian's two different colored eyes. Something unnatural.
You ever seen her before? You just saw her the once or more.
Never. Though what I
Go on.
seen Blake Crockett's wife. She's got the witch eye. She looks at Lady Lillian as he says that.
She have something to do with this?
Witch eye is sort of a slur for for a changeling or hag-blooded. I don't know what she's got to do with it, but he's the one who married someone like that. I mean, what sort of man marries? And he looks at Lady Lillian and then stops.
So are you implicating her husband?
I'm not saying nothing. I just know Crockett, Billy, he'd never say nothing, but Elwood, he could have given that boy what care he needed months ago. Kept dangling it out. Bill, work a little longer. Work a little longer. Nothing comes of it.
Beyond your suspicions, do you know anything specifically that Mr. Crockett did in this matter?
No. Just that woman who I never seen before or since. And Master Frederick. He kind of looks up at Dr. Earthsprung again. I won't say it in public. I won't put it in writing. That's what happened. I did it under duress.
How many of these did you make?
3.
Were they all identical?
All the same. Same instructions.
And none of these 3 are in your possession any longer, correct?
It didn't belong to me. Just work. Work that boss says to do, you do it.
Frederick took all 3?
Yes.
Did Frederick make any other comments about this matter in your presence than we've discussed already?
Not that I know. The way things are going, he's going to be boss to this part. Or so as we hear.
What was his disposition? Was he angry or...
Oh.
Frederick.
The boss says to do work. I don't know what your boss sounds like. He sounds like a boss. He says do it, I do it.
Anyone think of anything else to...
What about the hag? You worked with her.
I didn't. That was that woman. What do you mean hag? Is that who she was? Is this some kind of hag thing?
Poker looks around like to Golag and Hannibal like, oh, did I say the wrong thing?
I think it's just the fear because of the association with curses and sort of secretive magic and whatnot. That's scary shit if you get the hag's eye on you.
No, totally. And I think Sepulchre is so used to the occult and all that stuff that seems normal to talk about.
Yeah, you think so?
People might scare the shit out of people.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh yeah.
Tell him we can protect him from the evil eye if he helps us.
So I'm going to turn to him and I will say that, and I'll pull out that strange device that I had at the beginning.
Yep.
And say, this protects you from the hags. I will give it to you if you aid us.
Oh, I did help you. Come on, give it to me.
So I will look at Golag to see if I should turn it over, but I'm willing to do so.
We'll perhaps give it to you on our way out. We have other things to do.
No, don't forget. Don't forget, and don't say nothing to Master Frederick.
Well, we're about to have a chat with him right now. But we'll probably keep your name out of it. We'll see.
There is a look of desperation on his face, but with Dr. Earthsprung's presence, he seems unwilling to act on anything. So,
I think I'll stay and keep you company while the others talk to Frederick.
He looks pleadingly over at Sepulchre.
So Sepulchre hands him the little pyramid and then says, this will protect you from the hags, but beware till a lie will explode, and then just leaves.
Give us a deception check. The DC's going to be quite low because he's been primed.
I mean, deception. This is real. No, I am hero pointing this.
Yes.
Well,
He believes, no, that's good enough. The DC's going to be much lower than. So he holds it gingerly and then kind of carefully places it on his desk. And he'll stay with Dr. Ersprung. Is anyone else watching this guy, or are you all heading off to meet with Frederick next?
I think we're going to go Frederick, right?
Yep. Yeah. So.
Okay.
I'm just going to try and learn anything about this device because there's obviously still one out
There's one out there, yeah.
See if there's any way of stopping it, blocking it, controlling it. And I'll just talk to him while I'm waiting.
Sure.
Could
Mo,
we
were you
actually
trying to say
check-
something?
Yeah, I was just say, sorry, I need to get a more stable mic stand. Lillian's going to suggest, well, could we find like the paperwork? I mean, I'm sure a company like this is very strict. And so go
Paperwork
look
for
through
what?
his filing cabinets.
Paperwork
whether
for
he's
what?
given the devices he made.
I made secret devices at the order of my boss. You think I keep paperwork of that?
Oh, protection. And if it went horribly wrong, you could at least show that. But okay.
Well, wish I
Obviously
thought
not
of that
very
before.
bright then. Oh well. Yeah, I think let's go and talk to Frederick.
Okay.
Are we just going to like beard him in his den? Oh well, we'll discuss this.
In his office. He has taken over Elwood's office. So it
just
takes.
to be clear, we did learn something very valuable here, which is that clearly Frederick is involved.
Right.
So it is starting to look more like a conspiratorial. Yeah, it's not a singular person entity behind this. Very possibly, it seems more possible.
Should we send a telegraph to the solicitor and saying we
Yeah.
found information implicating Frederick?
So you're going to leave the office to go and do that?
Oh, he's in this building, huh? So we need to get.
Yeah.
Frederick is in this building, yeah. The solicitor
solicitor, I
is in his own office.
Maybe we should swing by him first, and then.
No, I think we take care of Frederick. Why give the bad guy a chance to get wind of what's up?
And he may have eyes and ears everywhere.
Oh, sorry, I was forgetting who'd employed him. Sorry, silly me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go and have a talk with Mr. Frederick.
All
Very
right.
good.
So it takes you 2 secretaries to get through to finally actually see him. There's the one initial waiting thing, and there's the second in a waiting stage before you're finally brought in. And if you can picture any of like the bankers' offices from Mary Poppins with the huge doors and the cavernous ceilings and everything. Remember, you can just click on the triangle to display what your spells do. You don't need to put them in chat.
All right, no, I was just going to say, if we need to, like, diplomacy people, I can, like, zap them. We'll tell the crew that.
Great.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Because nothing would go over better than a hag spell with verbal and somatic components before you ask him anything.
Yeah.
We'll light
Maybe I
a
need
flame
to
under you
investigate
too, so you can be very shadowy and like
Underlit.
really.
That's all.
Yeah.
He is one to the look in your locker room.
Oh.
I think maybe I need to get some smoked sunglasses so I can be a
There
bit
you
more
go.
stealthy.
So you're finally brought into Eckert's office, and it is the kind of thing that, like, it could quite easily accommodate a very, very long boardroom table, but it doesn't. It has his massive desk at the far end, or more properly, Elwood's desk at the very far end of this thing, meaning you have to, like, walk along almost as if you were getting ready to have an audience before royalty. You lead along, and Frederick looks up. It waits for you all to sort of arrive, as it were, at his desk. And you don't need to make a roll for it, but he makes a point of still working up until the point that you guys finally stop. And then he finally, finishes off whatever he was writing, sets it aside, looks up. Yes.
Mr. Frederick Eckert, my name is Golag. You may have been informed.
I'm aware of you, Mr. Golag.
Very good.
You are Doc's son. Is that true?
That is true.
And
Yes,
are you here at
indeed.
his request?
I am here at Mr. Eckert Sr.'s solicitor's request, Addison Wright, and I'll show him the paperwork.
I'm aware, and he holds his hand and he says, I'm aware that Mr. Wright sent you here. I was curious whether it was by proxy of your father.
No. He's not involved in this, I don't believe.
Oh, curious. I will pass along a greeting then. I intend to see him at the club, not later today than tomorrow, I'm sure.
No, please do. Please do.
And the rest of your companions?
Yes. We're all working on this situation that Mr. Wright wanted us to look into as far as the peculiar behavior of your uncle.
He shakes his hand. Now, Sepulchre, having only heard a couple of words too, this is for sure the other voice. This is the
so once
aristocrat.
again, I will attempt to surreptitiously indicate to Golog and whoever else I can, but specifically Golog, that this is the case. What kind of role?
The reason I'm laughing is because you've got no eyes, so I'm picturing you leaning forward and just going, wink.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I just say wink.
Seeing the wink, I will cast. I will try. I think it's meant to be kind of quiet. I will cast Message, a cantrip called Message.
Okay.
And you mouth the words quietly, and I look up at Sepulchre and say, recognize him. And it says, let's see,
Yeah.
I guess I'll
Love it. Love it. Yep. So you can hear that, cool. Like almost like it's echoing in a metal container, right? Like recognize him.
And you hear the servo motors and whatever else mechanical is going on, like as he nods in response.
Oh yeah, right, because you can respond right away too. Actually, yeah. So, and it's delivered as well too. So there's a silent back and forth that goes. That's awesome. Great use of Message.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely him.
Mr. Eckert. Can I? Is it possible that we recollected to Kevin the construct from the desk?
That's fine. He also had two, I guess, as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, yeah.
So I'll put it on the desk. It's good to have a focus. And so
he kind of winces as the metal's put down on the hardwood. But
you ever seen this before, Mr. Eckert?
I believe it's one of our products. Is it not?
I lean in a little bit.
Yeah. I believe it's one of our products. Why? Did you purchase it? Do you need repairs? I'm sure we can arrange a replacement.
I think I'll raise an eyebrow and I'll say, no, this was actually, this was found in the basement of your uncle's mansion.
Indeed.
Lydian's going to step in and say, I believe there is a third one which you may know the whereabouts of.
He stops and looks at her. Madam, those are bold words and strong accusations. I trust that you would not be so foolish as to come in and cast such aspersions for someone who cared deeply, the only person who cared so deeply for his uncle. And she looks at you, sir, since investigations are your stock in trade, let's cut this short. Do you have any proof with respect to what this thing has said?
Another one has been discovered in my offices.
And what has this to do with me?
Well, there is indication that you asked for their production.
Oh, there is indication, is there? What proof is that?
I heard you. I can't help it.
Yeah.
Yeah, get in there.
He's being called a liar.
Yeah.
So.
Why don't you give us an intimidation check, please?
Okay, here we go.
Nice.
He's a little unnerved by this. He kind of catches himself.
I step forward and raise myself up as high as I can.
One of Matthias, I imagine, is also looming right behind you.
Yes.
Right? And he... I don't know what do you... I don't care what you've heard from your malfunctioning creature and this half-breed, but you'll need more proof.
So I interrupt him.
Yep.
and I repeat exactly what I heard him say.
Nice.
In his voice?
In his
You
voice.
can do it.
So give us do you have performance? Performance or deception?
I mean, I have performance. Let's go with performance because it's true. It really is.
Yeah,
I'm trying to replicate him. Nope. I've got some hit points. Yep. Here we go. Come on.
It's a good approximation. It's a little hazy because you just hear it by way of spell and whatnot too.
I've got a burned out vocabulary.
Yeah, exactly. So 1 hero point for everybody. He looks at you. He says, I've had quite enough of this parlor tricks and threats, Mr. Golag. If you don't get to the point precisely now, I believe our meeting is done.
Someone that would benefit greatly has attacked one of the titans of industry in this city. That is your uncle. And the person most likely to benefit, that would be you, sir. You were sitting at his desk in his office, and you had produced these items, one that attacked your uncle directly, and that one invaded my office, who was hired by Mr. Wright to look into it. That is the point of this meeting, sir.
He stands up. Allow me to present a separate story then. A fool and aging solicitor with no other clients finds himself desperate to find an excuse for why his addled client should remain in place in the most successful industry in Paridar. And to try and prove this fanciful tale of conspiracy, he hires half-breeds, monsters, constructs that should have been cast off and smelted down. I don't know what you are, madam, as he looks at Sally, and the cast-off, unsuccessful offspring of a friend and colleague.
These are strange words coming from a man professing his love for his uncle.
Madam, if I could have my uncle healthy and well and of the same mind, you think I would not wish it so? This is it. And he steps down and presses a button, and you can hear the security is being called in at this point. I will take you to leave. No one needs to make a roll. All of that is bullshit. He is completely lying. He is desperate. His voice is wavering on the point of breaking.
I mean, what are the consequences if we have like a knockout, drag-out fight here? That's a problem, right?
Very likely you guys will all end up in jail.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. You guys likely could take these people?
I mean, I could say, Hannibal will say, if you tell us where the hag is, maybe we'll forget this whole conversation happened, and we could all scapegoat that poor old crone, just like you are.
He looks at
hurting your uncle.
Leave.
Oh, so tempted.
It has to be said that the board of a company is not a court of law, and I suspect that this evidence is sufficient for them. We'll just take it back to our employer. I'm sure he'll find use to it.
He's trembling with anger.
Meeting could be called.
So,
I feel like drawing. You can use me as a scapegoat and say that the Dampier went crazy with bloodlust.
Well, he has insulted both myself and Sally, so I could.
Everyone. He's insulted everyone.
Mm-hmm.
From some tradesman.
All right. Well, at least unless someone, Hannibal's going to draw because he can very.
Everyone
quickly.
else draws. At least there's a guarantee of at least one of you guys dying if it immediately goes to a fight.
Oh, I was security actually here. I thought.
Yes, he pushed a button.
Okay.
It seems as if he had planned for this contingency.
No, I think let's leave and talk to the rest of the board.
I agree with Lady Lillian. Hannibal.
We could bring it before the board. This is correct. We have recordings.
Bring the information to our employer. Save ourselves.
Let's see if the board finds your pretense as unbelievable as we do.
Indeed. Okay. And we're going to gather that board in the bedroom of your uncle and he stares.
He laughs out loud. What delusion do you operate under that you think you would have any control over the board?
Evidence.
Oh, indeed. Evidence. Go and see what you gain with your evidence, orc.
You're a desperate man. I've seen them all my life.
And you are nothing. See them out. And he sits down and furiously picks up a piece of paper and pretends to start reading it, refusing to look up again. A bunch of burly men with guns move forward.
Oh, I'll head
I love
out.
how all of these villains, Kevin, make me want to stop and kill them, even though I know I'm going to die if I do it.
That makes me so happy to hear.
Exactly. So true.
So yeah, he'll get.
I think Lillian's going to put an arm on your shoulder and say, "Put them down for later."
Okay, so Hannibal, she's calmed. You're, because I no doubt, like, you guys have known each other for quite some time now. You can see how quickly Hannibal's, like, it's that pre-twitch of his muscles as he's about to get his weapons and whatnot out, and you can feel Lady Lillian's arm on your shoulder.
Okay.
Perhaps it's also Matthias looking at you. What would Matthias's expression be at this point?
Matthias is looking, kind of giving a pleading look to Hannibal, like, let it go.
Well, I
I
look around at these security guards, because they're probably ex-veterans. He says, he kind of shakes his head. I thought there was honor among some of us. You know, he'll leave though.
Okay. So, I'm not sure you need more proof, but what do you wish to do? He is now, if there is nothing to be done or nothing done about this, he is about to accede to the highest, the running the most successful and most wealthy business in all of Paridar. Is there anyone else in the? You do have the letter from Addison Wright, but unfortunately, that if you try and like offer that, one of the guards grabs it and just tears it.
No, not to the guards.
What letter? Hey.
Yeah. Well, I think we should go to the after we're out. I mean, we'll leave the office. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should go to the board and also, it's good that Dr. Ersprung stayed with Seaton. We should secure. Secure his safety.
Let me ask you this: knowing what you know of Paridar, do you think the board will be more concerned about what happened to some old guy who now wants to give away all of the money and dissolve the business? Or will they go behind the nephew who is happy to go along, who will promise to keep running the business as it is? Because that's what you're...
I would think that they would want to replace both.
Yeah, I would think that they wouldn't want to be implicated with, curses and hags. Be bad for business.
Who would believe them, though?
Look at how one of their employees reacted. I mean, the main people they want to keep it on the down low.
My guess is that
get rid of Frederick themselves, or
Yeah, I think they want to. My guess would be that they don't care either way, and if they want to get rid of Frederick, they'll do it at a later point.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, we need to protect ourselves. So potentially, we take all this information and give it to Golag, and maybe Golag takes it to his father.
Oh.
Maybe we'll then be like a backup that has all this information, who has more power than we do, who maybe can protect us from all getting murdered in our sleep. And this is coming from Matthias telling
everyone
Volker to protect Annabelle so he doesn't get killed.
It's all very complicated.
Yes. That's his supposition. Anyway.
Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion. I think we let's go back to the offices. Let's say we go back to the offices and we report first of all probably both to our patron because that's
we should go to the patron first, give him the information because you never know.
Sure. Yep. That, and I think as a security, probably because I was thinking, I mean, who else can we go to? Not the board, not this, not that. So my father is actually a good suggestion. As a power broker in the city, at least get his thoughts.
Your father
if not his
looked
protection.
into this, right?
Yeah, I mean, his father. I mean, my father obviously is. I mean, I think he's probably elbows deep in it, is my guess. But at the very least, he knows about it. He's well aware of it. Somewhere between there, or he's one of the movers and shakers of the whole problem that we're not quite sure what it is. But
and he might be, but my guess would be he want to protect his son at all costs.
Yeah. At the bottom line, there is going to be some. There is some. Yes, I mean, if it wasn't for me in this situation, I wouldn't say go to him. But in this case, yeah, I think those is a good.
Assuming he doesn't drive you out to the river and throw you off the boat and teach you how to swim.
I mean, it's a risk, but I think it's one worth taking.
Let's take it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what are we ending our session on? I guess we're not done.
We're all getting thrown into the ocean. Like hopping on our feet.
We've all been.
You said you want to talk to Addison Wright and you want to talk to your father. Your father will take longer than 8 minutes, likely. Did you want to check in with Addison Wright as well?
I mean, I was going to say, I think the best. I mean, if we're going to have the curtain falling, it would be that we'd already talked. My suggestion is we'd already talked to Wright. Because that's just going to be more of a dry report.
Well, let's
and then our report and then our conversation.
Maybe. You never know.
That's true.
So let us quickly cut to because I think still with a head of steam.
I know Kevin too well.
Well, the question is whether it's with my father or Wright that something interesting is afoot.
It sounded to me like.
What's that meme of that kid from the taco commercial? Why not both?
Well, Wright is our employer. Right?
So you guys once again travel to the house of Addison Wright. Because remember that he did not want to meet you at his law firm. Or at least Golag and Sally would remember this. Yeah. So you guys, in a head of steam, worked up. There's 2 angry carriages that take all of you guys over to this. You have an opportunity to, the film version of this would see each of you angrily, contemplating, trying to figure a way to make this, spin this web to your favor. You all spill out into the sumptuous but tasteful home of Addison Wright. You are left waiting in his luxurious study, his dog barking outside,
yes.
and until he walks in, and he has a valise in his hand. Mm-hmm. He walks in and places the valise on the table. Mr. Golag, Lady Madame Dumer, and I see you have brought almost all of your companions. Was there a reason?
Yes, Mr. Wright.
My servant said you sounded, or my manservant said you sounded quite agitated. I hope there is nothing upsetting. He's definitely acting different than you met him the first time.
I'm afraid there is. Our investigation has had results, sir.
Indeed.
We have.
He seems remarkably unimpressed than the investment he had in this before.
I would. Well, so what has happened is we have found these devices, and I will produce one, and it was used directly in the senior's demise of his faculties in what you had us look into. It was also used. One of these was used to spy on my offices. The person who gave the order to produce these Eckert Industry devices, which was manufactured by Seaton himself, the chief engineer, was by the order of Frederick Eckert. And he pauses with drama.
I see. Why don't you each give us a perception check, please? Yeah, Dr. Ersprung, he knew. He knew before you gave him. Same thing, Lady Lillian. He knew before you told him that. Golag, you made the exact. Not 20. He knew, and you can feel like with the nat 20, Golag, he's waiting for you to finish saying whatever you want to say. His hands have not left the valise. And from the sound of it, when it put down, it sounds like it has money inside.
And I think as soon as he realizes that, he sharply stops his sentence. He says, "Oh, I see. You already knew."
He tries to hide it and does a pretty good job. If you weren't such a keen study of character as what you and Dr. Ursprung and Lady Lillian are, he would not reveal anything. But, you have completed your investigations, or at the least, it is far as I am requesting you to conduct them. We had agreed on 175 gold crowns. I am deeming your investigation a success. In here, and he puts his hand on the valise, in here is 280 gold crowns. I trust that you have put nothing into writing with respect to your investigation, that you will provide me no written report, and that you will forget about this matter. If we have your assurance on that, he places his hands on the valise, then our transaction is complete.
Very good. I understand. May I ask, what will you be continuing to work for Eckert Industries?
He kind of twitches a bit. I suppose we can speak plainly. You are aware that my sole client for the past 40 years has been Elwood Eckhart. I am proud to say that I am now primary counsel to Eckhart Industries.
I see. Congratulations on your promotion.
And you, Mr. Golag, on the completion of your services. I am glad that we were able to meet or come to an understanding.
You will contact us if you have any further work, I would hope, in other matters.
Oh, indeed. And as he puts his hand down, you once again see that ring with the markings of the Secret Society on it. You may remember you saw the exact same ring on Frederick's hand. Then pushes it forward. I trust that this brings our matter to a conclusion. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you for your services. And a belated happy Yule to you.
And to you, sir.
So you guys collect your pay. You head outside. The falling snow and soot beginning to fill the streets of Paridar. And the one thing that remains is for those who are not yet second level to enjoy reaching second level. So, for those, that means Lady Aurelius, Sally, Golag, and Sepulcher, you are now all second level as well.
Awesome.
And with that, we will bring the Harrowhaunts of Yule to a close. And I will say a huge thank you, first off, to this stellar group of players and to Ingolf, who wasn't able to join us today. I think that's everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, who played in all these things. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me in the spires, or under the spires of Paridar, in the streets of conspiracy and intrigue and mystery. I had an enormous amount of fun preparing these and writing these, so thank you so much for bringing these pre-gens to life in a much more interesting way than I could have ever hoped for as well, too. Thank you to James for giving Sally a proper surname as well, too. That is perfect. And to Sean for giving a name to the investigators in the Spires of Paridar, too. The Illuminators is just perfect. Then, is this the last we see of our heroes?
I hope not.
No,
Probably not. So, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for our series of Spires of Paridar sessions. I do have a playlist on the channel for the Spires of Paridar sessions, and I'll rearrange them so that they're in proper order to have Chapter 1, Chapter 2 of the Harrowhaunts of Yule in the same order, but... as is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section of the video, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. You can also find a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord, and I will see, I don't know, we may have to set up a channel for Spires of Paridar, but we'll see. There is definitely a channel there for Pathfinder 2, and you are more than welcome to join us over there. We have channels dedicated to every campaign we run on the channel, as well as a bunch of other great stuff. So, and more importantly, a bunch of great people. So you are more than welcome to join the Dungeon Musings community over there. Last thing I will say is an enormous thank you to all of our players. So George, Sean, James, Mo, Carl, Darren, and Ingolf, who was not able to join us. Thank you so much for giving me an excuse to take my mind. For those listening who may be aware, I was not able to go back to the home for the holidays because of the current situation with COVID. So I asked if anyone would be interested in playing games, and these fine folk and Ingolf gave me an excuse to create, put my nose to the grindstone, create the setting, create the characters, create the stories, and this has been just an enormous amount of fun to create and to write, and even more satisfying to see in play. I love the personality that you guys have injected to all of these characters. It's just super fucking cool. So anyway, and also as this is again the first game of 2022, so welcome to 2022, guys. I really could not, setting a pretty fucking high bar in terms of role playing. So hopefully we'll carry on with, what am I talking about? Of course we will carry on. This is just the first of many wonderful adventures to be having in 2022. So a very happy new year to anyone who is joining us for the first time, if you're listening contemporaneous. Otherwise, we'll be back to many of our regular things, and likely back to the streets of Paridar. I am at least posting, I'm taking part in the character challenge for character creation challenge for January of 2021, and I'm posting a new first level character for the Spires Paridar setting every day in January for the foreseeable future. So partly to kind of explore more of what possibilities there are in the game. But anyway, with that, we'll bring things to a close. For those listening at home, once again, thank you so much for joining us. We hope that we gave you a few hours in the streets of Paridar to take your mind off the troubles of our world, or to start thinking of the fact that we live in a somewhat better world than the world of Paridar, where you're at the mercy of the powerful and the wealthy. How different from our own. We hope that this finds you healthy, safe, and weathering the current crisis as well as can be expected. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, happy gaming, and happy New Year.
Yeah.